the Royals travel to the Bronx to begin a 3-game series with the Yankees. Brady Singer will go head-to-head against Garrett Cole on the mound, and first pitch is slated for just after 6 p.m. Kawhi Leonard will miss Game 2 tonight against Phoenix at 8 p.m. with the Clippers trailing 1-0 in the series. The Suns are without Chris Paul yet again, and Devin Booker will look to build off his brilliant Game 1 performance. For our latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive, coming at you live from the Cobble Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Connor Happer and Ravi Lula. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is The Drive here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer and Ravi Lula with you. Ravi, hello. We can't hear him. You can't hear him? No, I can't hear him either. Wait, he's off. He's unmute. Their mic isn't connected. Wait.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Ravi. How's it going?
It's awesome.
Yeah, everything is great, as is tradition around here.
Hear me? How's this?
Yeah, it's not great, but, it's working. Also, Rico, could you shut that sound off on that computer? Thank you, because it's, also
better,
playing.
Worse?
It's good. It's good. This is how we do it. Live radio. We test things out. We, as you may have noticed over the last couple of days, we have had some technical difficulties with our main equipment. So we're trying something a little bit different today because we feel like, I feel like we need to bounce some things off of Ravi. I need to grill you on Creighton. Who's getting the death penalty?
Well, not quite, right?
No, not really. They're not really getting anything.
No, it's the most slap on the wrist thing ever.
Yeah, it is. So that's really nothing. But also, we need to talk about Jacob deGrom, who just continues to dominate. There was no easier bet that I've ever made than yesterday in a 7-inning game with Jacob deGrom pitching for the Mets. I was like, oh well, this will be cool. He's going to throw the entire thing, and they'll probably allow 0 runs, which probably gives him a good chance to win, which didn't happen, by the way, but he still was dominant.
Yeah, I mean, when you throw 101 miles an hour, it's pretty good bet that you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. deGrom yesterday, there was a stat going around. ERA plus, which I just learned about today, don't really even completely understand what it is, other than what it tells me on the Baseball Reference website, which is it means over 100. It's like 100 times the league ERA divided by by his ERA, and it's adjusted to ballparks. I don't know how they come up with the numbers. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know it exists. I have no idea what it means.
But his is 777.
Is that good?
And the major league record for a single season is 291. So he's currently pacing for 3 times better than the best season of all time, which I mean probably won't hold. It's a very small sample size what we have so far, or it's a small sample size what we have so far. It's not that small. But Pedro Martinez, your favorite guy, holds that from his 2000 season.
Well, I was going to ask, was it 99 or 2000?
2000 Pedro.
2000 Pedro's the best.
2000 Pedro was great. 2021 Jacob deGrom, even better maybe.
He's fine.
I don't get it, man. I don't get why you don't help. I don't get why you don't give him some props.
No, he's great. I don't want him to be better than Pedro. If he could come in at 289, that would be fine. He seems ahead of that pace right now. That's all I'll say.
He is definitely ahead of that pace at the moment. Speaking of baseball, also Major League Baseball put out just about 30 minutes ago a tweet that said, "Big things coming. with a side eye emoji, and then it was a graphic of the moon with baseball seams on it, and it said June 23rd, 2021. So it begs the question, will there be a game on the moon tomorrow?
I think that's the only logical conclusion we can make from that.
This is it has a lot of responses, and most people are thinking, yeah, it seems like we're going to do a game on the moon tomorrow.
It could be talking about moon shots, like the home run derby.
Maybe.
Are we going to get Vladdy, Acuna, and Tatis all in the derby?
I heard today that Vladdy's out.
Dang it, Vladdy.
Yeah, it makes me very sad.
Why would you do this to me?
By the way, if Mike Schaefer's listening on his way home right now, he's probably home by now because he doesn't live that far away. But shout out to Mike Schaefer, who, when he asked me at the beginning of the year who I thought was going to lead the league in home runs, I gave him Vladdy and Matt Olson, and he immediately was like, Vladdy, no. I was like, why? That seems like a weird bone to pick. But I was like, yeah, I don't see why not. And I believe those are two of the top three guys in home runs right now.
Yes, I don't understand why he would be so out on Vladdy. I mean, that seems weird. Maybe he didn't think he'd stay healthy.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Weird.
Maybe not at this point. So we got a bunch of different stuff coming up today. Parker Gabriel is going to join in a little bit. I want to ask him about actually some of the recruiting buzz that's going around right now for not only Nebraska football but just nationally. I asked this to Schaefer in the last hour there, but I mean, the Dylan Raiola buzz is kind of more.
The train has left the station.
Yeah, it's pretty prominent. It's pretty out there, and like there's a lot of universally loved former Nebraska football players. That list maybe has shrunk over the years. After
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, they have, whether it's maybe become coaches or said things, whatever it might be. Dominic Raiola has kept his name out of the Nebraska lexicon for a really long time. Probably purposefully. And now he comes back and he brings his what looks like is going to be 5-star quarterback son along with him, and he has a lot of positive things to say about Nebraska. He performs really well. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense why there's some buzz there. But this is a crazy one. I don't think I've ever seen this type of buzz for a kid we're talking about who isn't going to be in the class for at least another 2 or 3 years.
Well, and here's the kind of thing that's going to be awkward about this is you've got a very highly regarded player at quarterback in the same class out of Bellevue West and Dan Kalin, I believe is how you say his name. Yep. And so you're either, I mean, unless they take 2 quarterbacks in a class, which has not been their go-to so far, either they're going to have to say no to the legacy Raiola or to the in-state kid from Bellevue West.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know, things will obviously look a lot different. I don't know how, but they'll look different in 3 years.
Well, and also there's a pretty decent chance Dylan Raiola will play himself out of Nebraska's recruiting league, if we're being honest.
Yeah, but I mean, he brings that type of pedigree now. Like, people are kind of referring to him as that type of dude already.
Yeah.
And he seemed to have taken an interest in Nebraska at least a little bit, and his dad Dominic is obviously going to push for it as much as he can while still being a good dad and all that stuff. I would actually encourage people to go back and listen to Dominic Raiola was on Early Break yesterday morning. It was pretty good stuff and interesting stuff, and you could tell how much Dominic loves Nebraska and especially coming back for the first time in a while, you forget, is one of the things he said. You kind of forget what it looks like, what it feels like. And he seems to trust the people that are in charge. So, I mean, that's a big deal for Nebraska. I don't know how long that carries, but my guess would be if Nebraska starts tacking some wins on the board, they could actually be in that recruitment.
Yeah, that's the key though, right? They're going to have to start tacking some wins on the board, which is kind of the deal with anybody, right? But he is one of those guys that it feels like Nebraska wouldn't even be in on it to start if there weren't the connections, right?
I think so, probably. Yeah, I mean, he was making the cross country trips, and he was telling the story about all the places that he went to last week, or they went to as a family last week, and they were continuing to go. I don't think Nebraska probably would have been on that trip had Dominic, met, what he did to Nebraska. So probably not.
But I mean, that doesn't mean that he can't come here. That doesn't mean that attachment to Nebraska won't make him want to come here. I mean, there's most of these places, or a lot of these guys have previous connections to a lot of these places. That's, whether, they know somebody on staff from before, or there's a family friend or something. A lot of these recruitments are not going in like a blind date. There's a lot of connections amongst people in these worlds, and a lot of times it does make a difference in recruiting. I don't want to seem too pessimistic. It's just This is going to be a high level prospect that Nebraska probably is not in the conversation without that connection.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think they'll take anything they could get at this point. I want to hear from you guys in the show today, 402-464-5685. So we'll talk about that piece of it specifically with Parker Gabriel from the Lincoln Journal-Star here in just a little bit. Okay, so while we have a couple minutes, let's do the Creighton thing real quick, because I know people, that's been a talking point over the last couple of years while this has kind of been under investigation, and the hammer, quote unquote, not much of a hammer, came down on Creighton today. They finally got word of what their penalties were going to be. And basically it's, you lose a scholarship for 2 years, you pay a quick fine, and you wipe your hands clean, and it's like it never happened. Basically, and then I don't know if this was out there before, like the exact details of what happened, but basically there was and you could probably explain this better than I can, but there was a payment made to former Creighton assistant Preston Murphy, based on the recruitment of Brian Bowen, who was a 5-star recruit in a couple classes ago. And obviously he didn't end up going to Creighton, and the coach will end up having to take a show cause. But that's what I know about the situation. And it feels like Creighton kind of, they're not going to be affected by this long term.
Yeah, so while Brian Bowen was mentioned in the statement, or in the explanation of what the issues was, there actually was no payment for Brian Bowen. Brian Bowen's dad alleged that he was offered a certain amount to go to Creighton, but that money never exchanged hands. What he actually got
that was the whole $100,000 and a good job thing. Yeah.
Yes. What he actually got in trouble for was he was friends with somebody associated with an agency, and there was a meeting amongst this agency person, Preston Murphy, and several other people within the college basketball realm, where Preston Murphy was given an envelope with $6,000 in it to encourage a relationship between Creighton players leaving the school and the agency which wanted to represent Creighton players.
Gotcha.
The part that was left out early in the reporting was that the money was returned by Preston Murphy, and mostly what happened there was, at least according to what both Bruce Rasmussen found out in his initial internal investigation, and according to what I've heard from people, is Murphy was trying to help his friend lend credibility to their agency by appearing to have a business relationship, and then returned the money because he knew he couldn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
And he told Coach McDermott about it. McDermott fed it up the chain to Raz, who actually is mentioned in the statement for not reporting it. He's the only other person that really gets kind of a slap on the wrist. Now, Murphy's punishment is quite a bit more than a slap on the wrist, because it's a show cause penalty, and he's already been out of college basketball for 3 years. So you're kind of in a situation where it looks like Preston Murphy probably won't ever coach college basketball again, which is a tough situation for a guy. It seems a lot like he was made the scapegoat for this situation, and Creighton, I mean, listen, obviously he was somewhere he shouldn't have been and did something he shouldn't have done, right? Even the appearance of taking money from an agency violates the ethical guidelines of the NCAA or whatever. But what it felt like in this situation was, in order to avoid harsher penalties, Creighton kind of threw Murphy under the bus as, hey, this was a lone bad actor here, and this has nothing to do with the rest of the program or the rest of the university or anything like that. So just keep that in mind when you penalize us. And it seems like the NCAA did.
That's usually how it goes. I mean, that's how these typically have gone in us unpacking that whole thing over the last, 3 or 4 years, basically in the world of college basketball. One guy goes down and the bigger piece kind of moves on. And that's seemingly what happened here. The penalties that Creighton got today are not going to be
nothing
detrimental to them competing at a high level at all.
There's no postseason ban, which is the big one. The only question that it really brings up for me is, at his age, with a pretty rough year under his belt, I wonder what happens with Rasmussen moving forward, if he might decide to kind of quietly walk off into the distance at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I don't know. That may be coming up anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is in his 70s. He's been on this job a long time. I'd be surprised if it happened quickly, because I don't think he would want it to seem as if it was directly related to this situation. But I think the fact that the only two people that are given blame in this situation are Murphy and Rasmussen, I do think that matters to him and to the university. And it wouldn't shock me at some point in the next few months if he decides to retire.
It's interesting how this gets kind of, because I mean, Creighton was one of the schools that was mentioned in the whole, in the big FBI case. And that was always something that people, I mean, especially Nebraska basketball fans that looked at, they were like, Creighton cheating, stuff like that. Throw them in jail with all these other programs and stuff like that. And
I mean, Nebraska fans had FBI hats and stuff, dressed up behind the Creighton bench a couple of times in the at PBA. I mean, like it was a big deal.
So does the admission of guilt basically, further enhance that as far as the perception is concerned, or does it just fade off into the sunset now? Do we drop the whole criminal FBI thing? Because that's not there.
I'm certain that Nebraska fans won't let Creighton forget about this anytime soon. That being said, I do think it is important to note that Preston Murphy was not charged or convicted of anything, while that cannot be said of a lot of the other assistant coaches that were named in this FBI thing, which I think lends credence to the version of the story I've heard, that he didn't actually formalize a business agreement with the agency, which would have put him in precarious ground, legally speaking. Maybe they just didn't have the evidence for it. I don't know. They have wiretaps on the LSU and the Arizona coach, and that nothing ever happens there. So maybe they're just, maybe certain people just aren't getting in trouble and others are. But in terms of how fans view it and stuff like that, programs that don't like Creighton, whether it's Nebraska or whether it's other teams in the Big East, I don't think they're letting them live this down anytime in the near future.
I just mean, not even maybe in the landscape of Nebraska as we think about it so often, but what about it just in the landscape of college basketball? I mean, some of these, when I think about Arizona, or maybe not so much LSU's a weird one because Will Wade's still there and I can't help but think about that every time. But like Arizona, I don't think this is a dirty program every time I watch Arizona play basketball. Should I?
Yeah, you should. I mean, Arizona is definitely dirty. There is way more dirt there.
I mean, obviously not comparable to what Creighton has. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, Arizona, Sean Miller was as dirty as anybody is what, I mean, if you really dig into those reports from the FBI and everything, I mean, there's wiretaps talking about him paying DeAndre Ayton, among other players. I mean, there were seemingly direct cash payments for players that suited up for Arizona, which is not something alleged of Creighton. It is something alleged of LSU. which I do feel like I'm watching a dirty program every time LSU is on.
Yeah, there's something about the way that I just can't get past.
Well, and let's be clear here. If Sean Miller had continued to win, he would still be at Arizona. He was not fired for the, alleged transgressions. He was fired because he didn't win enough.
Is it going to be that way with Creighton /or Greg McDermott? And Greg McDermott, now it's two things that people can think about outside of, how successful they've been over the last couple of years. So I don't know. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the last 6 months have not been good for Greg McDermott's image in terms of how he's viewed nationally. I don't think this, in terms of people around the program, I don't think this part of it is going to really affect how they thought of him any more than it did at the time when it initially came out. And he actually comes out pretty clean in the report.
That's what I think. I mean, he wasn't really named at all.
Yeah, basically the only mention of McDermott was that Murphy came to him, told him what happened, and then he reported it to Rasmussen, which basically fulfills his obligation in that situation. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he comes off too bad in the report that came out today. I think it's more just the kind of a guilt by association type thing with Mac more than anything else. Like I said, I think the only people that come out bad in this are Rasmussen and Murphy. I
want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685. Claytonia John says, BS, Creighton got off easy.
They did get off easy. I mean, this was a slap on the wrist. That's 100% accurate.
I don't know with what I saw out of like what the investigation actually yielded. Like, I don't know if that would have, I don't know if that would have told you that they should have had a postseason ban or something like that,
I don't think what actually happened warranted much more than what they got.
Right.
I do think that it could have been framed in a way that, okay, maybe McDermott, you could frame a way that maybe McDermott's in on it or Rasmussen's in on it, and that makes it look more like an institutional issue. But this really does seem to be a fairly isolated incident with one assistant coach. I mean, you really haven't heard even rumors of much else or anything else with any other coaches on staff or that have been on staff recently. So it's a pretty hard case to make that they deserved much more than this.
Texture says Greg's a cheater. Clap, 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 clap. I can't wait for the game this year. This will be super exciting.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fiery.
It'll be really good. And Nebraska should have a halfway decent team. And Creighton is going to be in a weird spot. But did you know that Bryce McGowens is a 5-star and he plays for Nebraska? I had heard that from a couple different tweets before.
Yeah, I saw it on their Twitter account, which was news to me.
Yeah, just a few tweets. I don't know. And that game will be here. That game will be in Lincoln this year. So that'll be, anything to spice up that rivalry I'm good with.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. And I hope both teams are competitive. I mean, the rivalry is a lot more fun when it's competitive, obviously.
No doubt. Let's take a quick break here. We'll talk to Parker Gabriel from the Lincoln Journal-Star. I want to ask him about the Dylan Raiola buzz and some other recruiting pieces. Maybe if we get the chance, get into some of that NCAA stuff from yesterday as well. Parker Gabriel joins us next on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here for Honda of Lincoln, and before I bring out Andy Goodyear, I want to share this with you. I'm sure you've heard most auto dealers are very low or have no new cars to sell. For those of you who really want or need a new or pre-owned vehicle right now, Honda of Lincoln has more than 900 new Hondas in stock or on the way, and a great selection of pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Plus, you can still get financing from 0% APR or special factory lease rates. Andy, how did you get so many cars?
There are three primary reasons. One, we are the oldest and largest volume Honda dealer in Nebraska. Two, we are a 15-time Honda President's Award winning dealer and the only Nebraska dealer to receive it in 2020. And three, our customer satisfaction index with Honda is very high. When you combine all three, Honda helps us have the cars and trucks on our lot.
Thanks, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridge World. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridge World is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers and all the required service just for buying Cartridge World ink and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
Wanna bet? Las Vegas is miles away. The sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs is much closer. We're your 50-yard line. Behind home plate. Center court ticket. To real-time odds and over-unders. We've got all the action and the best odds. Or bets on all your favorite teams at the Sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs.
Must be at least 21. Terms subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not Nebraska.
No matter how big or how small the job, Landmark's new John Deere compact tractor packages are sure to fit your acreage needs. The Greenhorn package includes a tractor and loader. Add a mower or rotary cutter when you upgrade to the Weekender package. Landmark's Foreman package comes with a tractor, loader, mower, and rear blade. Visit our virtual showroom online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark Implement to experience the Landmark difference.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Did you know that Myers Cork and Bottle is still open for walk-in business, but is now also offering citywide delivery? Learn more or place your order by calling 476-1518. And be sure to listen to Thirsty Thursday with Myers Cork and Bottle every Thursday at 4:30 on The Drive.
Hey, it's Tapper. Join me and Robbie this Friday at Rubidoo for their grand opening. It's Lincoln's ultimate barbecue store, and they're giving away $1,500 in prize money. And there's live music right after the show. That's this Friday at Rubidoo at 455 West South Street.
You're listening to The Drive with Connor Happer and Robbie Lula. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Back here on The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket and the ticketfm.com. Connor Happer, Robbie Lula with you. Show brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. All right, we're going to be joined by Parker Gabriel of the Lincoln Journal-Star here in just a second. I want to run through actually a couple recruiting items with him. We were talking about the buzz for Dylan Raiola earlier, which is super interesting to me, and a couple other things recruiting as we've gotten into the month of June. Pretty busy time for Nebraska football. Let's see where they come out on the other end of it. So I guess without further ado, Parker joins us now. Hey, Parker, what's up?
Hey, what's up, dogs?
Where are you? Are you okay?
I'm fine, yeah. How you doing?
Good. How do you sound different?
Do I sound different?
It sound great, but just different.
Oh, weird. Well, I'm not. I don't think I'm different. I think I'm just further along into June. I'm in the car, so that's one thing. But other than that, there's nothing different.
That probably explains it. Have you?
Probably.
Have you felt as much buzz for a recruit that hasn't played a varsity down yet than Dylan Raiola?
Yeah, well, Daniel Kalen, it wasn't exactly 0 varsity snaps, but he was close. That generated a little buzz when Nebraska offered him. But then the Dylan Raiola thing really took off. I mean, not only when we first wrote about it, what is it, the most read thing on our website, but then, the kid backed it up. He came to Lincoln and he really impressed with the way he threw the ball, and he's picking up offers pretty much everywhere he goes. And then, when you listen to to Dominic, his dad, and obviously you guys have talked about the great Nebraska center, former Nebraska center. It sounds like a situation where Nebraska can be right there for his services. I mean, are they going to get him? He's got 3 years of high school football left, obviously, but yeah, it's certainly become a very interesting story very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, so what did you see from him on Friday? I mean, obviously, like he's just a freshman or going into his sophomore year, and then you add in the whole Dominic piece of it. Like you said, I think we talked about this before. Nebraska could be in on that, like you said, but I guess it seems weird that there's so much buzz and we're not even obviously even remotely close to any sort of commitment or anything like that. Usually those two things accompany each other in recruiting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in this situation, it's because he's sort of first coming onto the radar screen. I mean, colleges knew who he was a month ago or 2 months ago, as they started to invite him to come throw on their campus and all that. I mean, it becomes very clear very quickly when you see what's happened with Dylan Raiola and all the offers he's picked up and all the interest he's garnered from schools, that this is not like, son of an NFL coach, let's invite him to our camp if you're Georgia or Clemson. I mean, there's a reason why he's throwing on these campuses. It's because he's really talented. And so there's obviously a long way to go. I think the buzz is really just, it's mostly because of how good he's looked this month in combination with the fact that, around here at least, like, Dominic has had really complimentary things to say about his time in Nebraska. And, he said it on Early Break earlier this week, and I think Sipple's writing about it probably as we speak. He said it's going to be really hard to not want him to go to Nebraska. Does that mean he's going to do it? I mean, no, it doesn't. There's a long way to go, and we'll see. I said it. A lot of people have said it. He looks extremely talented. I mean, he just jumps off the page to you. You want to let him develop too and sort of see where it lands. But if you are at the end of the day talking about a kid who's in a 5-star conversation or whatever, I mean, those college decisions are not decisions you make with your heart. I mean, as much as it, it's just the cold reality of it. Those are business decisions, really, at the end of the day when you're in that sort of company. And so Nebraska, I guess the best way to say it is Nebraska has the opportunity to prove to a lot of people around the country and a lot of players around the country, but Dylan Raiola maybe in particular, that they belong to be in that sort of conversation over the next year or two.
Parker, Nebraska obviously got a couple commits over the weekend as well, Grant Page and Jake Applegate. Out of those two guys, who do you look at and say, okay, this guy kind of looks like he could make an immediate impact for Nebraska when they get on campus?
Well, I think it's going to be a little tougher for Jake Applegate. I mean, they each have their challenges. For Applegate, you're talking about him playing in the defensive front seven. So it's not a ton of guys who step on campus and are ready to do that right away. I mean, he's a big, strong kid. He's obviously got a senior year of high school football to continue to develop and all that. The challenge for Grant Page is more just along the lines of Nebraska has a lot of young receivers. They've got if you include a couple walk-ons who you figure are going to be scholarship guys, they've got 2 seniors, Samari Toure and Levi Falk, 2 juniors, Omar Manning and Oliver Martin, and everybody else is a freshman. Wyatt Lever's another guy, he's a in the middle kind of walk-on, but there's that glut of there's 3 2020 freshmen and there's 3 2021 freshmen that just got to campus. So, you're talking about competing with 7 other guys so far between those 6 and then Victor Jones Jr., who's also in that class, that are going to be essentially sophomores or younger when Grant Page gets to campus. So, I mean, they each have the challenges. I don't think you ever necessarily bank on a guy coming in and playing right away. But if you take positionally what's easier to maybe make an impact, you probably take Grant Page before Jake Applegate.
Parker, what was your takeaway? I want to get your thoughts on the NCAA kind of court case yesterday in the Supreme Court. I know that was just about a very, focused issue, like, giving, being able to provide laptops or educational based benefits for student athletes and the expansion of that. But there were some pretty good shots taken at the NCAA and the model in general, and I feel like that's been chipped away at over the last couple of years. I guess what's your broad question, right? But like, what's your general takeaway on all of that stuff, and where are we headed next with it?
Well, I think the sentiment there is right on, in that the biggest takeaways I think that collectively people took were not about it wasn't the fallout of the decision itself immediately about educational related expenses and having those be uncapped. That's nice for the players. But in reading some stuff, in sort of sizing it up yourself, and then also mostly reading stuff from people that are a lot smarter and know a lot more about this stuff than I do, a couple of things I thought were interesting. Michael McCann from Sportico wrote a really interesting analysis that was basically about the idea, and actually Harvey Perlman, name that every Nebraska fan loves, of course, told this to our Chris Dunker in the story that he wrote about it, sort of along the same lines as the Sportico story. There's a precedent issue that the NCAA is probably deeply regretting, that this case ever made it to the Supreme Court, which is essentially just, there was one precedent for sort of the test for, amateurism and what sort of qualifies as amateurism, and it was in place for a long time. And the thinking goes that this case sort of resets what the precedent for measuring amateurism and whether it's, fair to college athletes, what that means. And that combined with the concurring opinion that Justice Kavanaugh wrote, which is what really excoriated the NCAA. It had nothing to do with the decision itself. Right. It doesn't set any new policy. But the idea that perhaps the test for amateurism has changed in the eyes of the court with this case, and then adding to that the manner in which Justice Kavanaugh wrote that concurrence, it just seems like the door's wide open for more litigation in the future. And that's where, that's where even more, I would think, seismic change would come. This is a big step, obviously, but I think as much as anything, it's sort of like a table setter for more litigation and more testing of what amateurism really means and what the Supreme Court is going to allow under that umbrella in the future.
Parker, with that all in mind, and kind of between what we heard yesterday and, as you mentioned, some of the litigation this could open up to, in 10 years from now, let's say, what are we looking at in terms of, what the NCAA is, or even if it even exists?
Yeah, that's a great question, Robbie. I mean, I don't really know. I don't think anyone knows. There's a lot of people sort of already dancing on the grave of the NCAA. This is the beginning of the end. The NCAA is going down, not a moment too soon, all that sort of stuff. And it's clear that major change is coming. Whether the NCAA as a governing body can adapt to that and become something that still has a role in the landscape of college athletics, I think it's an open question. I don't know enough. I can't forecast enough to say whether I think it's going to exist at all. It probably is not going to be in exactly its current form. I think it's clear that there's more change coming, but just between everything that is happening at the moment with the Alston decision in the Supreme Court, with name, image, and likeness coming online, with the prevalence of transfers, I mean, they're all their own topics and they only cross over so much, but all of them taken in totality, I mean, it's just clear that you're already talking about a different landscape than 10 years ago, and probably in 10 more years it will continue to look a lot different. But just, I think it's way too soon to say exactly, what it's going to look like 10 years from right now.
Yeah. There's a lot up in the air. That's for sure. All right, Parker, we'll let you go. Thanks as always for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good week, guys.
That's Parker Gabriel from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Yeah. And Robbie, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, me and you, yesterday, but I certainly talked a lot about it. And I think I had the same takeaway as you. And then you throw in all those seismic changes that seem to be coming, pretty shortly here from the end, whether it's from the NCAA standpoint, whether it is from the college football playoff standpoint, one-time transfer eligibility, name, image, and likeness. There will be restructuring based off of all of those things. I don't know what the next half a decade or decade holds for specifically the sport of college football or for, college sports in general. It's really, a lot of it is up in the air at the moment, more than I've ever seen at one time. We've gone through these waves, and we've had conference realignment, and we've had rule changes and things like that, and it's changed the sport individually, but all this stuff seems to be happening at the same time, and there's going to be a domino effect, and one thing's going to lead to another.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I keep coming back to is that the NCAA, as the governing body of major college athletics in terms of the money-making sports, I think that's going to go away.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the smaller schools, the Division II, Division III, the non-revenue sports. I think those may still have direct and impactful ties with an NCAA or NCAA type governing body. But I think we're nearing, and I don't know if this is 10 years, 20 years, whatever down the line. I think as more and more of these legal decisions chip away at the NCAA's stronghold over college athletics, I think we're headed for some type of super Division I, basically, where they govern themselves and the money sports are allowed to be money sports.
And like I said yesterday, like it can still be the NCAA. What's being attacked here is, yes, it's the NCAA, but they're being attacked because of their model. They're being attacked because the model of amateurism no longer stands or holds water.
Which and it's not even, I mean, it's amateurism the way they've defined it, right? I mean,
right, exactly, yes.
Technically, the Olympics are for amateurs for the most part, right? I mean, you have exceptions for basketball and hockey mostly, but these are technically amateur athletes in the Olympics. The Olympics changed their model as well a couple of times, whether it was to allow certain professionals to compete or whether it was basically the Olympics allowed a name, image, and likeness years ago, so these athletes could make money outside of or off of their fame and success in the Olympics without being directly paid by the Olympics themselves through endorsements and sponsorships and everything like that. And everybody, for the most part, still is cool with the Olympics. Nobody has an issue with it. It's still governed by the same body. If the NCAA is willing to adapt to this new atmosphere, then they can survive, but it in no way will look like it does today.
Exactly. We can talk more about that as we go on throughout the show today, but let's take a break here. Rico's in next for What's Poppin' on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. The DP and Stevens Show.
Nebraska's Director of Player Development, Buzzy Carruthers, is our guest.
For official visits, guys get 48 hours. Get them in to Hendricks with the practice gym being over here. We let those guys get to see the locker room, the practice facility, and then they get to tour the facility. And I've been to a lot of schools. I like to tell people that have not been here, it's sort of like an Olympic facility. All of these sports under one roof.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ambition Electric is your source for quality, reliable electrical work. Joe has been in the business for 20 years and loves helping his community of customers to design visions and spark their dreams to life. With Ambition Electric, what you see is what you get. They honor the price they tell you and never go over budget. Whether they're checking your lights, changing out your service panel, or replacing your receptacles, they'll do the job with attention to detail and no cutting corners and with safe and thorough work.
Call Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Wanna bet? Las Vegas is miles away. The sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs is much closer. We're your 50-yard line. Behind home plate. Center court ticket. To real-time odds and over-unders. We've got all the action and the best odds in town. So grab the crew and place all your bets on all your favorite teams at the Sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs.
Must be at least 21. Terms subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not Nebraska.
What's on the program for this fine day?
I insist that pops the sound. The best is missed unless pops around. What's up?
What's going on?
What's crack-a-lacking, bro?
What's poppin'?
Yo, yo, yo! Pop, pop!
On the Drive with Connor Happer.
It's What's Poppin'. Rico's here. Hi, Rico.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Ravi?
I'm doing wonderful.
I can hear you.
He's wonderful, and he can be heard by all.
He can be heard.
What's on your hat, Rico?
It is a missile with a baseball.
Interesting.
Big baseball guy. Got it from the baseballism shop at the CWS.
They've got some cool stuff over there.
I also got the Ken Griffey hat that I will be wearing tomorrow. Ken Griffey Jr. hat.
Big hat guy. Wow, you got merched up over the weekend.
I did. I always get a shirt, the one with all the teams that were in the tournament on the back. And usually at least one hat. I got 3 hats because one was buy one, get one half off. So I was like, yeah, I get a second one. And then I got the College World Series hat. And I think I'm going to start getting like little baseballs with the logo on them. I got the one that's like white and black because it's cheaper than the all white one. So I got that one.
You're like collecting
the baseballs with the logos on them.
Yeah,
it's the same logo. The years just changed.
Gotcha.
But still.
Cool.
It's just something.
You got all the merch, Rico.
I love the College World Series.
He loves the College World Series, folks. What do we have today?
Now we've got some stuff and some things like there was going to be a different studio where there's an Avatar game being made. Avatar, the Blue People Avatar. They're making a video game.
As opposed to what?
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar.
What's that?
Or avatar, like the little thing in your profile picture.
Oh, we can't play the mute. Okay, got it. Got
sad.
it. You can turn it back up. I forgot about that.
Oh, yep.
Or what, Robbie?
Or like the little, isn't the little profile picture thing called an avatar?
Technically, yes.
All
Yes.
sorts of avatars.
But Avatar: The Blue People movie. There's a video game. There was a different studio that was going to work on it as opposed to the one working on it now. But that studio got dropped because they offered the people who went to meet with them cocaine.
Wow.
Huh.
Interesting. Pretty bold.
Yeah.
It is bold. You should, if you offer somebody cocaine, you should be pretty sure they're going to take it.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, we're going to work on this game for you. Would you like some cocaine? No. You're backing out? Okay. No, that
If you went into a job interview and they offered you cocaine, what would you do?
I would probably not do that.
Yeah,
job.
I probably wouldn't do that job either.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, you guys seem cool, but I'm out.
Not really. You guys seem not cool.
I was trying to be nice. They're on cocaine, man. They're crazy.
Yeah, that would not be cool at all. That would be 0% cool.
No, you say they're cool because you don't know what they're going to do. They're all coked out, man.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I just have to leave now. I'll talk to you guys later.
They're just like, hey,
Without saying that they're cool or not cool.
a meeting with
Fair
James
enough.
Cameron. You're like, James, would you like some cocaine before we talk about this video game we're going to make? No.
Actually, you're not making the video game anymore either. See you later.
Makes sense.
What's next?
Makes sense. Sounds good. More Subway drama. A lab analysis of the Subway tuna.
Subway sandwiches. Got it.
Lab analysis of the Subway tuna.
What was the
fails
first
to-
Subway drama?
The bread wasn't actually bread. There wasn't enough.
When was this?
I
That
don't
was
remember
like
this.
That was like last year during quarantine.
I absolutely don't remember this.
I talked about it on here.
I don't remember that.
No. Well, yeah, Subway's bread isn't bread.
That's
Well, it is now, but it wasn't.
okay. It used to not be bread. Now it's bread.
It had more what it was like a styrofoamy contents.
Wow. Okay, what's the new Subway drama?
The tuna fails to have tuna DNA in it. The tuna has no tuna.
The tuna has no tuna.
What is it?
They don't know.
Okay, so I'm actually not against this because tuna is gross. Like the canned tuna.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that I am just super against. If my wife pops open a can of tuna and makes a tuna sandwich, I'm like, "You're a disgusting human being. Get away from me." Like that's the only food I will do that with.
Really?
Yes, the only one, the canned tuna. I just cannot stand it.
I'm not a big fan of tuna either, but I
like
I don't
fresh
know.
tuna.
If you laid out a tuna in front of me and it was like, or you put it in a sushi, like I don't
tuna
know.
roll.
I don't know what else they do with tuna,
Wow.
but the canned tuna is basically one of my few exposures to tuna,
Mhm.
and I am full out.
makes sense.
Have you ever had canned chicken?
Yeah, same type of deal.
Oh, I don't mind canned chicken.
And chicken's not bad.
It's just the smell of the whole deal. It's bad.
That's
Yeah,
just
you have
things
to
that-
wash it off.
Yeah. Things that come in cans with like water is just kind of
Like, so do you think what percentage of tuna would the canned tuna test positive for?
I think all tuna. Well, like 75% tuna.
All tuna is some tuna. Is that what you're saying?
All tuna is a little bit of tuna.
Except for Subway tuna when it's no tuna.
Yeah, they send it to a fish testing lab, specializes in fish testing, a lab. And they said there are two conclusions, the lab spokesperson told the Times. One is it's so heavily processed that whatever we could pull out, we couldn't make an identification.
Yikes.
Or we got some and there's just nothing in there that's tuna.
Yikes.
I
Not
mean,
great.
you get that with some stuff, like processed cheese. A lot of time is so processed that there's no dairy in it, or like the cream filling in Oreos is so processed there's no dairy in it. So, I mean, it's not that uncommon. I feel like it is worse with meat, though. That's
I always appreciate when this happens. Andrew on the text line sent in, he just Googled Subway tuna, not tuna.
Yeah.
And the story apparently was broken in the Washington Post on January 27th. And I'm not saying that What's Poppin' has to be current, although it is called What's Poppin'. because I've never heard the story before. It's current to me.
This story,
but I don't know why it would come up. Why have you found it?
I was just searching things, and
Where?
this one on Reddit. And I've seen a couple where I'm like, ooh, this is funny, and then I look at it, I'm like, this is from 2019. Nope. This says I looked at it, June 22nd, 2021.
That's today.
Yep.
Huh.
I see January 27th, 2021. Thank you,
At
Andrew.
11:04.
Jake says, by the way, he remembers you talking about the
fake bread
thing, but he also says get a haircut.
You can't tell he's wearing a hat.
I chopped all my hair off today.
You did.
Or I had the barber do it anyway.
Maybe. I'll consider it.
It may not grow back. I don't have very much hair
It's
left.
a risk he's willing to take.
It is. It was time. It was.
I believe in
very
you.
much
I think it's a good look.
I can give you some of my hair if you want it.
I have realized that for whatever reason, this segment is just so much more awkward without music.
It's very weird.
Even though you're in here talking to us all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel weird?
It's supposed to have music.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hum instead?
No,
Okay.
don't do that.
I don't know if people notice that there is music even, but for whatever
I
reason,
do.
there's just like a flow.
For what's
to
popping, it's a certain feel, and the music just makes it feel more what's popping knee.
Claytonia John says, Happer, what about the flavored tuna packets? What? No.
Yeah, they're like little envelopes.
Yeah, that's just canned tuna in a packet.
Yeah. So
Sounds
you don't
worse.
get the smell.
I feel like you still might. It would just smell like tuna.
It's in a packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in like
what's
a
the powder?
No, it's tuna, but it's something like you can like open it up and then just squeeze it right into your mouth.
Ugh, no. Gross.
Rico, don't do that. You know, you like put it on a sandwich or
People
something.
do that. Yeah, but I guarantee you people do that.
It's not Go-Gurt, Rico. It's tuna still.
But it's in a packet. Somebody's going to use tuna Go-Gurt.
It's not. Oh, tuna Go-Gurt's the worst.
Tuna flavored.
Why would you say that, Rico?
Hard pass.
Segment's over now. Thank you, Rico.
Oh, so many problems.
That is apparently what's popping. Or it could have been what's popping
In January.
on January 27th.
6 months ago.
We will take a quick time out. 4 o'clock hour up next on The Drive.
Follow Connor and Robbie on Twitter.
I give a rat's about Twitter.
At Connor Happer. At R.A. Lula.
I don't know. I don't manage my Twitter.
You're listening to The Drive.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Sunny skies with an afternoon high of around 90 expected. South-southwest winds a little breezy, gusting to 25. Very slight chance of thunderstorms late this afternoon into this evening, especially just north of the capital city. Overnight, we'll drop down into the mid-60s for lows. Tomorrow, heating back up further with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Hey, Nebraska, Grant Wistrom here to remind you to stay in the game. Seatbelts have been proven to be one of the best ways to save your life in a crash, yet many Nebraskans still don't buckle up. Worse yet, not wearing a seatbelt is a habit that will pass on to our impressionable youth, who will then think it's safe to not buckle up. Whether you're traveling near or far, it's always important to buckle up. Car crashes can happen anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Your best defense is your seatbelt. We need everyone to buckle up every time. We need you to stay in the game.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Ambition Electric is your source for quality, reliable electrical work. Joe has been in the business for 20 years and loves helping his community of customers to design visions and spark their dreams to life. With Ambition Electric, what you see is what you get. They honor the price they tell you and never go over budget. Whether they're checking your lights, changing out your service panel, or replacing your receptacles, they'll do the job with attention to detail and no cutting corners and with safe and thorough work. Call Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
I'm Nick Zainert. Arizona has been sent home from Omaha after falling to Stanford 14-5 yesterday. In the night game, NC State held Vanderbilt to 2 hits all game long and hit a home run off of Jack Leiter on the mound over the right field wall to win a close ball game 1-0. Tonight at 6 p.m., Mississippi State and Virginia will play in a winner's bracket game on ESPN2. Last night in Major League Baseball, Javier Baez was benched after forgetting how many outs there were, which led to a base running mistake in the Cubs' 4-0 loss to Cleveland. Tonight, the Royals travel to the Bronx to begin a 3-game series with the Yankees. Brady Singer will go head-to-head against Garrett Cole on the mound, and first pitch is slated for just after 6 p.m. Kawhi Leonard will miss Game 2 tonight against Phoenix at 8 p.m. with the Clippers trailing 1-0 in the series. The Suns are without Chris Paul yet again, and Devin Booker will look to build off his brilliant Game 1 performance. For your latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive. Coming at you live from the Cobble Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Connor Happer and Robbie Lula. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Welcome back in, 4 o'clock hour of The Drive here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Connor Happer, Robbie Lula with you. Rico still here. Rico, for those of you who aren't aware, yes, is a major part of the show, takes care of a lot of things behind the scenes, calls our guests, and when you call in to 402-464-5685, you will hear, during our show, you will hear Rico on the other line. And so Rico, during the break, answered a phone call, as he would. The phone rings. Rico's there to answer. How did that conversation go, Rico?
Well, I answered it how I always answer the phone. I said 93.7 The Ticket. This is Rico. And it went something like this. The guy, I said my thing, and he goes, "Hey, I just got called from this number. And they left me a strange automated message, and I guess I don't know what to say. I'll talk to you later."
And to be clear, it wasn't Sipple.
No.
Okay.
This guy sounded very distressed, very confused, and he said, "I'll talk to you later." And I said, "Bye-bye."
One of the great things about calling or texting 93.7 The Ticket is that we're never going to call you unless you won a prize and you have, and it's like a major prize and you have failed to pick it up or something like that. That's basically the only reason we'd ever call or text you or have your information. So I can assure you that we did not automated call anybody.
No,
that doesn't even exist.
Here's what I'm
capabilities.
Here's what I'm wondering now, with how disturbed this man apparently was. What did the message say?
He didn't know what to say, so it must have been something.
That's what I'm saying. He sounded shook.
I was kind of scared. I'm confused and slightly scared. I think maybe he was trying to keep me on the line. I think they were wiretapping us or something, trying to find our location, which
is on the internet.
One night, my family and I were out at, this is a long time ago. I was basically a kid, I think, at the time. And out at my grandparents' house on the farm in Hastings. And my dad got a phone call on his cell phone that he did not answer, and that he listened to the voicemail later, and the voicemail was extremely distressed, and it said, this very drunk guy on the other line, and he said, "Hey, this is the hillbilly from Albion, and I'm gonna do it."
That's it.
What did they do?
That was it. Call back the next morning. Hey, is this the hillbilly in Albion? I guess so. Yeah, sure. Is everything okay? Yeah. Why do you ask? Just making sure. Got a weird call.
Did you do it?
Apparently not. It doesn't sound like you did it. He thought about doing it, though.
He considered it.
I don't even know what to do with that. That's horrifying.
So that was that could happen.
I have a terrible problem of no matter what number it is that calls my phone, I will answer.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
They have the thing now on the iPhones where it says if it's probably
Potential
junk.
spam.
Yeah,
I still answer.
You do.
I answer everything that comes into my phone.
Wow. I don't. I wouldn't say I answer everything, but I am on.
I just want to know what's going on.
But nothing's going on.
But maybe.
I don't answer anything.
I answer everything, and if I have a feeling that it's a robot, I start screaming to see if it is a robot. And one time I did that, and it stopped, and I waited, and the lady goes, "You good?" And I hung up immediately.
How many times have you answered the phone and somebody was actually trying to reach you specifically?
No, it's not anybody that I don't have their number already.
Right.
That's why I don't answer anything.
So never. Yeah.
No.
That'd be exactly never. Yeah.
But one of these days it could.
Frankly, I barely answer when it's people that I do have their contact information.
How many times in high school did you not have a phone or your phone died and you had to call your parents from somebody else's phone? What if they never answered?
Yeah.
Never get home.
It's a different world, man.
What are voicemails for, man?
Rico has to go now because somebody else is calling. It's probably just our weather guy, but yeah, he's calling now. So Rico has to go do the thing. Unless it's somebody wondering about how the phones work.
Or
is
somebody...
it? No, it's Kent. It's Kent. It's Kent Bell.
Yeah, I'm under the strict impression that if somebody who I don't know needs to get in contact with me, they will leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
And if they don't leave a voicemail, you're never getting a hold of me if I don't have your number.
Then sometimes it bothers me when they leave a voicemail and then I have to listen to the voicemail, and it even does that thing where you transcribe it, but it doesn't do it 100% accurately. So you kind of have to figure out, wait a minute, hold on, is this real or not? It's just all of it is just a scheme to waste more of your time, which honestly just seems mean. I don't think the end game is to get money out of it or anything like that. Maybe if you're really, gullible or whatever, that could be the end game. But really here, all we're looking to do is take 30 seconds out of my day, which I really despise that. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, if I can't figure out what it says from the transcribed voicemail, just delete it. It's gone.
Yeah, see you later.
If you really need me, you will send me a text at that point. Or if it's a business, they'll send me an email,
Good question from Joe. Why does Ravi sound like he's in a cave? That's because actually he is.
Yeah, I live in a cave now. It's fine.
Like we said at the beginning of the show, the last couple days we've experienced some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And this is the best we can do.
Yeah.
And it's not that bad, but it's the best we could do.
I mean, is there anything I can do on my end to make it better?
No, there is
Okay.
not. There is not.
Okay.
It's not that bad. It's the best we could do. Ben also says this, Rico, you might be interested to hear this if you're listening, or we could just say this and Rico will never hear it, which would probably be the better choice. Ben says Rico is a G, best guy at the station, in my opinion. You heard it.
I hope he never hears that.
Yeah, you heard it. Not great.
Shoot.
Yeah, so now Rico's head's going to get big.
At least his hats won't fit anymore. Joke's on him.
He'll have to get a haircut for sure then. All right. I do want to hear from you guys. Jamie says to the Facebook page, I'd like Robbie to get closer to the camera. Yeah, go ahead. Get in there. Good idea. This is super
What's up, Jamie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could take it off of the
Yeah,
super
that's
mode.
on you, Connor. I have
Yeah,
to be like super close to my mic so that I can actually talk.
Yeah, we have these long microphone things, so now it feels like I'm far away and you're at a normal distance, but whatever.
We can't zoom one and not the other.
No, actually,
Oh.
we cannot.
That's terrible.
It's either one or the other. We have a phone call from Rico? Elion? I've never heard that name before. Elion, I've never heard that name before. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Great. What do you have for us?
One time I got a drinking call from my boss that said, "You're fired." And
Oh,
I came
no.
to work the next day and I said, "Am I really fired?" And he didn't remember anything.
Oh my God.
He was just ranting about his wife or something. I don't know.
You should have probably what kind of job are we talking about here? Like a summer job? Like did you have, like how much investment do you have in the job?
It was at a food truck, man. I worked my ass off. I didn't know what I did with his wife.
Hopefully nothing.
Hopefully nothing. That's extreme, man. That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, well, me and him are good now, other than that. So
Thanks, Elian. Appreciate it.
he's sober now, so it's, it's whatever.
That's positive. That's not good.
And they're divorced.
Keeps getting better.
Yeah, it does. Do you have anything more you want to add to that?
Well,
nah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good place to end it. Thanks, Elliot. Appreciate it.
All right,
I was expecting that Elion's now dating the ex-wife or something.
He didn't want to add anything else.
Maybe he does. Maybe the boss doesn't know Elion's dating
Where do
the
you think
ex-wife.
Elion was calling from?
I have no idea.
How old do you think Elion was?
He sounded very young.
I don't know Elion at all. That was I never heard the name Elion before.
I liked the call though. I think Elion should call back when he has something else to
Yeah,
say.
we love Elion, that's for sure. And
It was a good call.
It was a good phone call. Ben also says after his Rico comment, for the record, I am very drunk after being at the College World Series earlier today, so take my Rico review with a grain of salt.
So the only people that love Rico are the drunk ones. That's what I took away from this.
Yeah, very drunk guy said, "Hey, you know what? Actually, you know what I think today? Rico's a G. Rico seems super cool."
So if you're wasted, that's when Rico makes sense.
Yep, that's when Rico's good. There's got to be a business avenue to that at some place.
Bartender, I think.
Drunk words are sober thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
sometimes not.
That has been said before. Sometimes drunk words are just drunk words.
Are also drunk thoughts. I think there's a certain point where drunk words are drunk thoughts.
Yes, I think that's right. Let's why don't we take a quick break here to for whatever reason, we always just end up spiraling out of control in the first segment of the 4 o'clock hour, which is, I'm going to blame Rico for it.
It's
fine.
100% Rico's fault. We're coming off of what's popping, and it gets just weird.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back more next on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
There are fans, and then there's you. You live it. You breathe it. You want to soak it all in. Most sports talk shows are fine, but you find yourself craving more. You need the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Each day, we break down what's happening on the recruiting trail and on campus, bringing you guests from all corners of the college football world. The Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Weekdays at 2 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies with an afternoon high of around 90 expected. South-southwest winds a little breezy, gusting to 25. Very slight chance of thunderstorms late this afternoon into this evening, especially just north of the capital city. Overnight, we'll drop down into the mid-60s for lows. Tomorrow, heating back up further with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit BonsallPool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa. Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Ambition Electric is your source for quality, reliable electrical work. Joe has been in the business for 20 years and loves helping his community of customers to design visions and spark their dreams to life. With Ambition Electric, what you see is what you get. They honor the price they tell you and never go over budget. Whether they're checking your lights, changing out your service panel, or replacing your receptacles, they'll do the job with attention to detail and no cutting corners and with safe and thorough work. Call Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Hey, Nebraska, Grant Wistrom here to remind you to stay in the game. Seatbelts have been proven to be one of the best way to save your life in a crash, yet many Nebraskans still don't buckle up. Worse yet, not wearing a seatbelt is a habit that will pass on to our impressionable youth, who will then think it's safe to not buckle up. Whether you're traveling near or far, it's always important to buckle up. Car crashes can happen anytime, anywhere, to anyone. Your best defense is your seatbelt. We need everyone to buckle up every time. We need you to stay in the game.
You're listening to The Drive with Connor Happer and Ravi Lula, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Important take here from football take man Dan Orlovsky, who
Is that his professional title, football take man?
I mean, that's what I'm throwing him under the category as now. I mean, have you ever seen Dan Orlovsky not having a take?
I have not.
So on Twitter, he says all of the following things in one tweet. Potato chips are gross. Tortilla chips are everything. Also, if you scoop salsa instead of dipping, you're gross. You scoop queso and guacamole. That's the tweet. I would argue with almost all of that.
Yeah, almost pretty much everything he said I disagree with.
Potato chips are not gross.
No, I love potato chips.
Tortilla chips are not everything.
No, they're good, but everything seems like a stretch.
Seems strong. I would agree with the third take, which is you dip the salsa. You dip the chip in the salsa instead of scoop. Maybe there is a brief scoopage. You can get a small pile, but I am if we're talking about the dip ratio on the chip, I'm way more chip than dip.
See, I'm more it depends on what kind of salsa, frankly. If it's pico, you have to dip a little. Otherwise, you get almost nothing.
Absolutely. You have to scoop.
Yeah, you have to scoop a little. Otherwise, you get almost nothing if it's pico.
No doubt. Because then it's just a wet chip. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically just tomato water, which is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to scoop with the pico. With a thicker salsa that's a little bit more finely blended, I agree with the dip because you don't want too much on there. And then, but I do say I will, depending on the viscosity of the guac or queso, that may be a dip situation also, because sometimes it'll stick to it just by dipping, and you don't want to overdo it.
I just don't want. It's like a texter says, if you just dip the chip, how do you get any salsa? Like I said, there's got to be. It's not completely black and white. It's not just like poof, straight down and back out. There has to be some sort of tilt to it. But
So
what I'm trying to avoid is the massive pile of salsa on the chip.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. That's an almost exclusively a guac situation for me.
Yes,
is the
where
scoop.
you can go heavy.
Yeah, what really matters in terms of a dip versus a scoop with salsa is, again, the thickness of the salsa. Because if you have the proper salsa thickness, you can dip with very little to no scoop and still get some coverage on the chip. And frankly, it's a better ratio than you would get from scooping.
Also, potato chips are fine.
I like potato chips. Yeah, it depends on what, like, tortilla chips and potato chips are a different vibe, right? Like, if you're in the mood for one, the other will not be a substitute.
I really like the trend, by the way. I really like the trend of the everybody's doing the kettle cooked potato chips now that just have the little extra crunch to them.
Yeah, they're crunchier for sure.
Yeah, that's a great trend. I don't know when that started. Like, I think one company started doing it and then everybody copied off of them. I really appreciate that trend.
I think Panera started it. That's the first place I ever had kettle cooked chips was Panera.
Interesting.
The like house-made Panera chips. I had never had them until then, and then they seemed like the only ones for a while, and they were very crunchy.
Yeah, because you would go to any of those. You would go to any of those places in the or a sandwich place, and the options for potato chips were just like the normal Lay's.
Yeah, like Lay's.
Or they do the barbecue Lay's, and those, those are Lay's with barbecue, right? The kettle cooked barbecue chips, like that's where it's at, or the jalapeno chips, that's where it's at.
Oh yeah, you get the extra crunch plus the flavor. It's perfect. I love it.
A texter says, how can you eat salsa and not scoop? That's crazy. Like paste picante sauce, for example, like chunky salsa, can't get anything. How do you like the salsa on your tacos then? Is it not chunky and covering as if it is scooped? Different thing, right?
It's a different thing. Yeah, it's a different food product. You can't apply tortilla chip principles to tacos. That doesn't make any sense.
We're talking about a way larger surface area here. And that's basically my point here, surface area.
And
it's a small chip.
You're also talking about different flavor profiles, right? I mean, you have just the chip and salsa in your dip versus scoop scenario, where with a taco, you've got a lot of ingredients you're playing with here. It's a whole different thing.
It's a small chip. It shouldn't take 50% of the chip or whatever, a little pile on the end. You got to have some chip there to, otherwise you're just eating. Like if you want to just do that, just take a spoon and scoop salsa into your mouth. You don't need the chips.
Also, here's the important thing.
Ridiculous.
Here's the important thing here. Unless you're eating pico, in which case the chunkage is required. I don't want chunks in my salsa. I want a finely blended salsa.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that. I do think I am a little bit more willing to accept chunkier salsas than you.
I'm not.
I would prefer it. I would prefer it not watery, but I'd prefer it thinner.
Well, and listen, I don't even necessarily mean thinner, because you can have it really well blended up and it's still a fairly thick salsa. You just don't have chunks. And frankly, I don't even mind if the chunks are there, but if I'm dipping, I get the flavor of the salsa, but I don't need to eat the chunks of pepper or tomato or whatever's in there.
So a texter says, and this is actually, so I mentioned Dan Orlovsky, Take Man. I actually have a take on this. How do nachos play into the chips and salsa ratio? People aren't going to like this.
Well, nachos are queso, so that's a different deal anyway.
Here's my thing about nachos. Nachos?
Do you not like nachos?
I love the idea of nachos. Nachos are so difficult to pull off because you have a pile of chips, you have your crap that you dump on top of it, which is all great, whatever you want to do there. And then, so you have two different things going on. Half of your chips are completely soggy because they got the crap all over them, and half of them don't have anything on them, and they're just chips. So nachos is far from my first choice for an appetizer at any of those restaurants. I would prefer a chips and salsa or a chips and queso or a chips and guac, and you get basically the same type of experience. And I get you want to put the meats in there and have that thing, and the cheese and have that going on too. But the nachos are just so difficult to pull off. I find myself avoiding at all costs.
So I agree with you there. Nachos are difficult to pull off, and it's very easy to be disappointed in nachos. The key is a couple things here. You have to have the right type of cheese that doesn't make everything soggy. That's a huge portion of it. The other thing is layering. Okay. You have to layer the ingredients on each level of chips. Otherwise, you're right. You end up with a half pile of dry chips with nothing on it. It's terrible.
But then you got the soggy chips everywhere.
If you use the correct type of cheese, you do not.
I would rather do like a taco, the taco dip that people do or whatever, and then just have the chips on the side, and basically it's all your nacho ingredients in one little pan, and then you dip it in the nacho ingredients. That's the dream.
That's the Qdoba nacho. When you get Qdoba nachos to go, you can ask for the chips on the side. They make you a nacho soup basically, and then you dip or scoop. Actually, you scoop technically. You scoop the tortilla chip into the nacho soup, and it's perfect because you have crunchy chips, you have nacho combo here in the soup. It's delicious. So I do agree with you there. There is a better way to do nachos, but the combination of flavors is really hard to pass up.
Mark, who works here and is our boss, says, horrible nacho take. Very wrong. Turning your station off. We'll never listen again.
I will say good nachos are unreal.
I want to love nachos, and maybe it's like Scott has said on the text line, maybe you've just been eating bad nachos your entire life. It's possible.
It does sound like you've had some bad nacho experiences.
I've had some terrible nacho experience. We got a pile of chips, and there's no like. I'm the type of guy who on Thanksgiving will take the plate and just mix and mash it all around, and I don't care what's in what, you know.
Wait, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Mix and mash it all around like that. And I don't really care if the mashed potatoes are inside the corn, so be it. If the green bean casserole's mixed in there too with the turkey, like that's all great. And I want to do that with a nacho so I can get it evenly dispersed throughout the thing. But you just there's no way to do it with chips because they're meant to be crunchy and they fall apart. If you start mixing it all around like this, the chips are gone. And then you just have like a nacho thing with chip crunches, and that's not what you're going for.
I mean, you're just advocating for a deconstructed nacho. That's all.
I am. Make deconstructed nachos more mainstream.
Which I'm totally okay with. I'm very okay with a deconstructed nacho. It's the best of both worlds.
Texter says pulled pork nachos with all the fixings can't be beat, won't be beat.
I love it. Here's the thing. I don't like fancy meat on my nachos.
Whoa, we both have fiery nacho takes.
I just want my greasy ground beef on there, or I will take. Now this is gonna sound like a fancy meat, but it's really not. I do like steak nachos, but the quality of the steak can't be overpowering. Like it has to be kind of like a chuck steak or a sirloin, something that doesn't have. Because listen, if your steak has too great of a flavor profile, then it overpowers the other flavors in the nachos. That's my issue with pulled pork. If you get pulled pork nachos, you're just tasting crunchy pulled pork. Whatever
I don't think
else
I've ever done a steak nacho.
You've never done a steak nacho?
No.
Oh,
that feels like it would overpower the nacho though. Like it would make it so I would feel bad for the cheese involved.
Well, how so? I'm confused.
Like I just want like if it's steak, I want steak. And I like steak and burritos and stuff like that too. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. But I just feel like, the cheese is the part of the nacho that's so vital, that's so important that I agree with the
show. Yeah.
I agree with your take. I want to put some kind of lesser meats in there to just ground it up and make the cheese the star of the show. But if steak does that, I feel like it becomes the star.
I mean, you have to use a cheaper cut of steak for sure.
Okay.
You can't be putting like a ribeye on a nacho or something like that. It doesn't work. It needs to be like a sirloin, chuck roast, something like that. But honestly, my go-to, just the standard, that like greasy taco meat ground beef is the perfect nacho meat. It's a little bit of taco seasoning in there. That way it complements all the other flavors. You start playing around with some of these fancier meats, you're risking having something overpower the overall nacho flavor. That's not what I'm here for. If I want pulled pork, I'll go to a barbecue joint.
Are you a big nachos on like nachos in the microwave, like at midnight guy? Like do some shredded cheese on there and
I'll
put
do
it in
it. I've done it. I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't done it.
It used to be a go-to for me, and
when
now
I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah.
When I was like through college, even probably it'd be a nice little snack. Here's a couple problems: is it's really hard to get the melted cheese right without overcooking the chips, and they get weird.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, it's not that hard to just go buy queso in a jar. And now that I'm adult, I can do that. Whereas when I was a child, I was like, when I was a child, I was like, what's in the fridge that I can eat right now?
Texter says, I really like this from Beef Juice. He says, we need to promote wider area of nachos and less height stacking nachos. And I agree with you.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like there's like an Instagram, thing going on. Maybe I could blame society for this, actually, the downfall of nachos.
Blame social media.
You think I could get there? Society and social media? I think people want to make it look cool. And you know what looks cool? Just a couple little chips and a whole crap ton of other stuff.
Or they just layer
Not
the chips
that.
too high.
That is not practical at all. You want a flat bed of chips and then the sprinkles all over it, so you get no
naked chips.
No naked chips and no soggy chips.
I'll advocate a 2-layer system. Same idea, but very wide berth, a very large plate. That way you don't have to go like triple or quadruple decker with your nachos, because you're right. You get too many, it's all for show at that point. You're not getting a quality product then.
That's right.
And that's what social media is all about. They don't care about what's real. They don't care about what's practical.
Yeah.
They just want what looks fancy. You know what I want? I want real, practical nachos.
That's what I'm about. And I'm not against it. I'm not against nachos as a thing. I just am saying I've had some poor experiences. And if there's a menu, I go to a local place like Muchachos, and he's got the pulled pork. Or he's got the brisket nachos and whatever, but he's also got some other stuff that basically includes the same type of ingredients. I'm going to avoid the nachos. Sorry.
Brisket's way too good of a meat for nachos. I can't get on board with that. I will say
nachos need to be layered. Make bigger plates.
I will say, if I go to a Mexican restaurant, nachos are usually not my go-to.
Yeah.
If I'm going to like a bar food place, I'm more likely to get nachos as kind of like an appetizer, a shareable, something like that. But usually if I'm getting Mexican food, you're right. Nachos is not my go-to.
Thank you, Dan Orlovsky. We needed that today, because I don't think we would have known each other's serious thoughts on nachos if we didn't get that tweet from Dan Orlovsky.
I feel like we know each other a lot better, and it's going to be a better show for it.
I would agree. Let's take another quick break here. We'll come back round out the 4:00 hour next on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Tickets and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here for Honda of Lincoln, and before I bring out Andy Goodyear, I want to share this with you. I'm sure you've heard most auto dealers are very low or have no new cars to sell. For those of you who really want or need a new or pre-owned vehicle right now, Honda of Lincoln has more than 900 new Hondas in stock or on the way, and a great selection of pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Plus, you can still get financing from 0% APR or special factory lease rates. Andy, how did you get so many cars?
There are three primary reasons. One, we are the oldest and largest volume Honda dealer in Nebraska. Two, we are a 15-time Honda President's Award winning dealer and the only Nebraska dealer to receive it in 2020. And three, our customer satisfaction index with Honda is very high. When you combine all three, Honda helps us have the cars and trucks on our lot.
Thanks, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonsallpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at myerswine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your KFXL Fox, Nebraska weather tonight. Partly cloudy skies this evening. A chance of some isolated storms. Otherwise clear overnight. Lows 68. Sunny, windy, and hot for Wednesday. Highs around 96. I'm KFXL Chief Forecaster Kent Boughton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Beat the heat and save on a new cooling system from John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Combine new system rebates and LES incentives to save up to $2,500. Don't wait until your old system breaks down in the middle of summer. Take advantage of these great offers and beat the heat. Go to jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call today.
bid it. 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with a COVID vaccine. Everyone 12 years and older can too. Get vaccinated and stay strong. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Wanna bet? Las Vegas is miles away. The sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs is much closer. We're your 50-yard line. Behind home plate. Center court ticket. To real-time odds and over-unders. We've got all the action and the best odds in town. So grab the crew and place all your bets on all your favorite teams at the Sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs.
Must be at least 21. Terms subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not Nebraska.
You're listening to The Drive with Connor Happer and Ravi Lula. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
All right, back here on The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Couple things from college football today on a national scale. Nicole Auerbach tweeted this out. She said, just chatted with a bunch of presidents and commissioners. People are looking forward to studying the feasibility of the 12-team playoff and getting into the weeds of the various contracts to see if it's possible to implement before 2026. No one knows for sure just yet. Stuart Mandel echoed the same thing. And I would like to say this. So basically the reaction is like, really? You guys have basically decided, and we don't know this for sure yet, but you guys have basically decided that we have a new college football playoff model, and we have discussed all of the intricacies of it, and it's been well thought out. I mean, to the point where people who were intimately in the discussions a couple months ago were like, yeah, we have like, I don't know, how many was it? Like 1,400 possibilities out there or something like that for how they wanted to decide this thing. And so we've thought this out. We've landed on this one. And now we're deciding that it might not be able to be implemented until 2026. I'm calling BS. No way.
I'm not buying it.
This is going to get done. Like, this is going to be like, I don't know if it, obviously it doesn't happen within the next couple years. I don't think, just as the last one, just when we moved to the actual college football playoff, it kind of happened that way as well. But people are saying, oh, it's going to be extremely difficult to pull off. There's contracts with the Bulls. Well, people like, I don't know how much control the actual college football Joe fan has in this thing, but if you lay this out there and use it as like the dangling carrot and it doesn't happen until 2026, people are not going to be happy with that, and I will be one.
Yeah, I mean, I would be willing to bet that it'll happen by the year 2024.
It seems like that's the target, right? After the 2023 season, so 3 seasons from now.
Yeah, I mean, initially we heard maybe 2023. I'll give them an extra, so that would be 2 seasons from now. I'll give them the extra year. I don't think there's any way it's taking till 2026. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I mean, think about it. For the teams that get cut out of a 4-team, I mean, even in the next 3 years, before we all agree that probably nothing's going to happen in that amount of time. And I don't know the language that goes into the bowl contracts and stuff like that. And obviously there's a reason why people think it might be tough to pull off. But think about this. I mean, stuff moves in college football when commissioners get upset. And why do commissioners get upset? When their teams lose, when their schools lose out, or their member schools, their conferences lose out on money. How do they lose out on money? By missing the playoff. So how many teams are going to get left out of the playoff over the next 3 years because we're just not making a move like this, and we've already discussed a possibility? Well, that's 8 every year for 3 years or however long we do it. So those teams are going to have an argument. There's going to be a lot of conferences affected by that. Stuff will move. I am pretty much sure of it. Once again, like I said, I don't know the language that goes into these bowl contracts, but people are going to get angry enough that there will be movement.
Yeah, I mean, at the latest, we will see a change the year after Alabama gets left out of something.
Right.
I mean,
whenever that is.
Let's be real. That's when that will be the final straw if it's not done before then. No, but you're right. I mean, and here's the other thing. I don't think it matters what the bowl contracts are because, frankly, you can just say, okay, well then take a 5-7 team if you want to have your bowl, and there's not enough teams. Take a 4-8 team. There's no guarantee you get the team you want even in the bowl system now.
Right.
You get whatever team is left. You if you want a bowl game between 5-7 and 4-8, go nuts. You can have it. Congratulations.
That's kind of how I thought about it too. I don't know what the Bulls. I mean, obviously the Bulls. There would be a restructuring on that piece of it. People are going to be angry here. I don't think that's news to anybody. There might be some Bulls that go away. There might be some Bulls that just straight up don't exist anymore.
Which is not
the worst thing in the world for the sport.
Yeah, I mean, people have been complaining about too many bowls for years.
Right.
They're like, oh, you get all these mediocre teams, and it used to be a big deal to go to a bowl game, and so now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I don't even know, the Gasparilla Bowl is out. They're not going to be able to have a Gasparilla or a Bad Boy Mowers Bowl anymore. What a tragedy.
Right. Now we're sitting here like this is the reason that the college football playoff, the new structure is being held up because we're scared that a 6-6 team is going to end up in the Alamo Bowl. Like, who cares? Get out of here. It doesn't matter.
I mean, are we really going to hold this thing up because somebody really wants to play in Yankee Stadium in December?
Right.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Bo Lever says at the text line, I love the Bulls. I love the Bulls too.
They're fine, but not at the expense of the playoff.
Exactly. We have to understand, I think, there's going to be, like we said earlier, there's going to be some restructuring here. There's the how we know it, or how we've known it for a long time, is going to change or potentially not even exist anymore. So with that being said, we can't hold on to these things. And by the way, most of it is just like we're pretending that we really enjoy these things. Like, are we watching the Alamo Bowl? Alamo Bowl is a bad example because it's actually kind of like a heavily watched bowl. But like,
also,
we watch
the one that Nebraska has ended up in like half the time.
Right. Are we like holding this whole process up because we remember the nostalgia of going to the Alamo Bowl? And like, was it really that cool? You know what I mean? Like, these things can be changed, and it doesn't mean it automatically gets worse. Hear me out. What is something in your life that has changed and your life actually got better afterwards? Everybody has an example of this, right? Go ahead. Text it in, whatever you got to do. There have been things that have changed and things actually got better afterwards. That, Ravi,
yes,
is actually on the table here.
Oh,
that could happen. I believe it's a 50-50 chance.
I mean, probably not exactly 50-50.
Well, there's two outcomes.
There are two outcomes, but that does not mean equal probability.
That's true.
I would actually argue that the probability that it gets better is much higher.
Yeah, I would too, but whatever.
And honestly, you're not taking away college football games. That's the important thing to remember here. You're probably going to end up with the same, maybe more college football games, and certainly more college football games that have stakes at the end of the season, which is a positive thing.
A texter says, this is pretty good. My wife divorced me, on the text line. Well, you probably thought that was a bad deal at first, but guess what? Your life got better.
Oh, I thought you were asking me at first, and I was going to say the end of my first marriage.
Right. Exactly. There you go.
Terrific now.
That's a fantastic example. You probably thought, oh, well, We'll see. I guess we'll go out into the great beyond. I don't really know what's coming next, but there is the possibility that could end up okay for you. And I think that's pretty much where we're like, that seems like the sentiment that I get from the significant pushback that we get on all of these changes around the sport, all the changes around college athletics as a whole. It's just like, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with this? And it seems like, people don't have answers for it. And that's because they really don't. But we can't not do things because we assume that it'll be bad or it'll be worse. These things, like I said, major changes across the sport and across college athletics, have been thought out really well. and there's committees in place and a lot of people have had eyes on this, and a lot of people have put in their inputs and been listened to and stuff like that. And I just think, that part of it should be mentioned because I feel like we get kind of scared of what's next.
Yeah. I think naturally we are a people who fear change. And the reason that we're so attached to the college football system as is because we know it at least sort of works, right? We get playoff games, we get a national champion. Before that, we got a matchup of the top two teams, even if we disagreed with how it came about. But it works. It's never broken down and failed us or anything like that. And so we have this fear of leaving something that works, even though it could be leaving it for something better. And that's a natural fear we have as humans. We do it in relationships. We do it in jobs. We do it in every aspect of our life. And college football is no exception here. We are okay with something that works, even if it means not pursuing something better.
Off the text line, good one. While we're changing stuff, can we change the trophy as well? Good idea. Let's go back to the crystal ball.
You have to do the crystal ball. This is very disappointing that doesn't exist anymore.
That was one thing that we definitely got right in the 90s or whenever that was created. In the 70s, I have no idea. Whenever that trophy was created, that should have just stayed forever. That is one thing I did not want to be changed.
The crystal ball trophy was one of the best trophies in sports. And frankly, the lack of a crystal ball trophy is the only bad thing that's come of the new college football system.
It's a really dumb trophy. It's kind of nondescript. It's just like a gold thing with a football
shape at the top. It's not even a whole football. It's just the shape of a football at the top.
It's just a shape of a football.
The crystal football was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Hey, while we're at it, by the way, on changing trophies, I was thinking about this too. I had the whole thing yesterday about how at the state tournament, they don't have to play the Top Gun song anymore when they're announcing the champions, which same vein. Really? We're still doing plaques?
Yeah, we should get better trophies.
Let's get a trophy. Come on, Nebraska. We got this.
Listen, it can be really simple. Just whatever the sport is. Now, baseball might not work, but basketball and football specifically, hear me out. Just a gold ball on top of some sort of, like platform. That's
like
it.
A pedestal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And you're done. Better trophy.
It doesn't have to be that. It's definitely better than a plaque.
Yeah, plaques are pretty lame. Plaque feels like second place. That's all I'm saying.
And it's like, well, they changed it, so now it's the shape of the state of Nebraska, but it's still a plaque.
Still a plaque. A plaque feels like second place.
Ban plaques. Ban plaques. That is our new thing on this show. That's the cause that we're standing behind. We don't like plaques.
Much like dentists, we are anti-plaque.
Nice. Gene and Lincoln says when we split the title with Michigan in '97, I didn't care because we got the good trophy. It really did feel like that.
It made it feel way more like a real championship.
Yes. It felt like we actually won the national championship. And, they kind of did.
Michigan got the participation trophy and Nebraska got the real trophy.
Got the crystal ball, baby. That's how it works. The college football playoff trophy looks like a gold Olympic torch. It's weird.
Kind of, yeah. It's dumb. It's a dumb trophy.
Do something better. I agree with that. While we're changing stuff, let's do a new trophy as well.
But by do a new trophy, I mean go back to the old trophy.
But yeah. Also, the old trophy is pretty cool. Might want to just do that. We'll take a break. 5 o'clock hour. I have, based on a big game boomer list today.
Ooh, was it the D coordinators? Because I saw that.
Okay, that was one. And then there was another one, and it was like ranking the college football teams by each state.
Ooh.
So then I went through and I was thinking about the states that just have one or the states that have zero. And I just want to throw some stuff at you and see if there is any takeaways from it. So
Okay.
we'll throw some stuff at a wall next here on the drive.
Follow Connor and Robbie on Twitter.
I give a rat's about Twitter.
At Connor Happer. At R.A. Lula.
I don't know. I don't manage my Twitter account.
You're listening to The Drive.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your KFXL Fox, Nebraska weather tonight. Partly cloudy skies this evening. A chance of some isolated storms. Otherwise clear overnight. Lows 68. Sunny, windy, and hot for Wednesday. Highs around 96. I'm KFXL Chief Forecaster Kent Boughton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, volunteers across Nebraska have banded together to help our communities weather the storm. Let's take a day to honor their outstanding service through the Step Forward Awards. If you know someone who's made a difference in this difficult time, nominate them for the Disaster Volunteer Award. Go to serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. That's serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Beat the heat and save on a new cooling system from John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Combine new system rebates and LES incentives to save up to $2,500. Don't wait until your old system breaks down in the middle of summer. Take advantage of these great offers and beat the heat. Go to jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Alva business customers get more than just fast, reliable connections. They get service and support to meet all their voice, data, and TV needs. Because supporting your business is our business. Alva delivers peace of mind with a 100% fiber network, hosted PBX solutions, redundancy protection, and best-in-class service to back it all up. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685. That's 402-480-6685.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
I'm Nick Sainert. Arizona has been sent home from Omaha after falling to Stanford 14-5 yesterday. In the night game, NC State held Vanderbilt to 2 hits all game long and hit a home run off of Jack Leiter on the mound over the right field wall to win a close ball game 1-0. Tonight at 6 p.m., Mississippi State and Virginia will play in a winner's bracket game on ESPN2. Last night in Major League Baseball, Javier Baez was benched after forgetting how many outs there were, which led to a base running mistake in the Cubs' 4-0 loss to Cleveland. Tonight, the Royals travel to the Bronx to begin a 3-game series with the Yankees. Brady Singer will go head-to-head against Garrett Cole on the mound, and first pitch is slated for just after 6 p.m. Kawhi Leonard will miss Game 2 tonight against Phoenix at 8 p.m. with the Clippers trailing 1-0 in the series. The Suns are without Chris Paul yet again, and Devin Booker will look to build off his brilliant Game 1 performance. For your latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is The Drive. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
This drive is going to toughen your hides.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Connor Happer and Robbie Lula. Presented by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Welcome back in 5 o'clock hour of The Drive here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Connor Happer and Robbie Lula. This may turn into a bit of a trivia, actually, for the first piece of it. Because
I like trivia.
Well, good. I like trivia too. And I feel like sometimes I wonder if I could be like a game show host or if I would be better at being the contestant on the game show. It really depends. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's very topic dependent.
Okay. So let's see how we do here. Can you name every state with just one FBS program?
Okay. Well, Nebraska.
That is one of them. Correct.
Let's see. Now, Arkansas State is now FBS, correct?
That is correct. Arkansas does not exist.
So that's not one of them.
That's not one of them. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, is Missouri?
It is.
How many total are we talking here?
Let me go back and count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Eight. Oh, wow.
There are
okay.
8, and there are 1, 2, 3.
Wyoming.
There are 4 with only 1, and that's a Power 5 school.
Okay.
Wyoming is 1. Yes.
So I've got 2 of the 4 Power 5 and 3 of the 8 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna say, it's not Utah because they've got Utah State.
There's actually 5 Power 5s. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's see. Weirdly, New Mexico, I believe, both has 2.
New Mexico has 2. Yes. So the states with non-Power 5 with group of 5s only are Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii, duh, that's an easy one.
Idaho and Wyoming.
Okay, so is Idaho State FCS then?
That is correct. Yeah, Boise State is the only FBS school in Idaho.
Idaho
dropped down.
Okay, that got me. Okay.
I thought so too. I had to really look that one up. Idaho dropped down.
The Vandals at one point were an FBS school, but they dropped down. Okay.
Because I was playing at the Vandal Dome or whatever that was in NCAA 14 for sure.
Okay, so those are our 3. So I got
the Kitty. I think it's called the Kitty Dome or something like that.
It's a weird name.
Kibby? Yeah, Kibby. Kibby Dome. Yeah.
Makes me uncomfortable.
That's weirder.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, so then you got Nebraska.
Nebraska and Missouri. So there's 3 more with Power 5.
3 more with Power 5, and they are all Big Ten schools.
Really?
Yes. Super interesting.
Oh, man. Okay, so Big Ten, we're looking at New Jersey.
New Jersey with Rutgers is the only Power 5s, are the only FBS school in the state. Yes.
Maryland?
Maryland, no. Maryland is home to 2 FBS schools, Maryland and Navy.
Oh, Navy.
People forget about Navy.
The location wasn't in the name. That one got me. Okay.
Don't forget about Navy, Ravi.
Okay, so we've got two more in the. It's not Iowa. It's not. Ooh. Is it? Is it? Hold on. I'm doing a search here. It's Illinois, isn't it?
It is not.
What? Who's the
Illinois has Illinois, Northwestern.
Oh, Northwestern. I'm dumb. It's not Indiana.
It is not Indiana.
It's not Ohio.
It's not Ohio.
It's not Pennsylvania.
These schools are both in the Big Ten West.
Big Ten West. Okay.
You got this.
I apparently
not Nebraska.
do.
We know it's not Iowa. We know it's
Nebraska.
Not Illinois.
It's not Iowa. It's not Illinois. Who's left in the Big Ten West? Okay, here we go. It's not. I'm so dumb. Now I'm blanking on who's in the Big Ten West.
He's under the pressure now. He's under the heat.
Okay, hold on. Minnesota.
Minnesota! That is
and
correct.
Wisconsin?
And Wisconsin. Both of them. Nice job,
Ooh,
Rob.
I almost choked. I almost choked on the Big Ten West there. I didn't, though. Figured it out. Got it.
Texter says, holy cow, this guy is dumb.
Yeah, I know. All right, guy.
Just put that up on the ticket text line immediately. Holy cow, because it could have been said to any one of us. Honestly, if that text comes in and I just have to guess who it's addressing on the text line, Ravi's like last on the list of and the power rankings of holy cow, this guy's dumb. I might be first.
Depends on how recently Rico's spoken.
Rico's in the running for sure. Sipple would be up there for sure.
Yeah.
Jake would be up there. Like anybody could be called dumb. It's like, yeah, it's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
one.
I mean, listen, not a great moment for me, but when here's the other thing is when you're on the radio and you're trying not to have dead air, so you don't just sit there and think about it and you have to speak words while you're trying to think of the Big Ten West teams. Was it a great moment for me? No. Should I have gotten it quicker? Yes.
Good call, Kelsey. Mississippi Mud Dog. I missed one. Yukon, Connecticut. Is a state with just one.
Still technically an FBS school, yeah. And they still have a football program.
That's why I avoided them. I was like, I kind of thought they dropped their football, but yeah, they are.
No, they just dropped out of all conference affiliation for football. They're a weird independent.
There are also states with zero. The states with zero are Alaska, Delaware, Maine, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont. Those are the states with zero FBS schools.
Yeah, I could have. There were several that I thought of that had zero, but
yeah. And there are some that ended up having two, and I was like, oh wow, I guess you're right. Yeah. How about that?
And honestly, it's kind of surprising that like Missouri, for instance, only has one because that's a pretty well-populated state.
Super surprising. Two major cities.
Yeah, Kansas City and St. Louis. You would think that it would have more than one FBS program.
So out of those states, out of the teams with one, or out of the states with one, where does Nebraska rank? Because this was a conversation somebody I was talking to in Arkansas was like, oh no, it was the Arkansas guy who came on and talked about baseball that one week when playing Arkansas. And he was like, yeah, I mean, Nebraska and Arkansas are a couple of the only places in the country where the main state university is like the only focus in the state. And that actually is true because that takes Missouri out of the running. Missouri just gets covered up in Missouri, even though they're the only FBS school, they get covered up by professional sports.
Yeah, you've got Kansas City and St. Louis. You've got professional sports there. And obviously with Arkansas, you have Arkansas State in the state, but it's not nearly the same level of enthusiasm and coverage that Arkansas gets.
Rutgers gets covered up by literally everything else.
Yeah, by anything else existing ever.
Wisconsin gets covered up by the professional sports.
Green Bay, Milwaukee.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, the only and same thing with Minnesota. Nebraska, not that you guys didn't know this. I mean, Nebraska is so unique in that, like they're the only school really of their kind that exists out there, that they're the main attraction in their state as far as the FBS is concerned, the main high level Division I schools. And also they're the main show in the state as well. It's really, I mean, I know people say that all the time, but it's really true. I mean, it's super unique in that way.
Yeah, there's some places where, like you said, Rutgers, where they are the only technically college show in the state, but nobody cares. I mean, that's a combination of nobody caring, and you have obviously a ton of other sports on the East Coast to care about. Same thing, like we mentioned with some of the other schools, it is a lot more rare of a situation than I think we often realize or give credit for.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a reason why people say, and like, that's why the conversation gets out there whenever Nebraska goes to hire a coach and something like, or something. Now people take it too far.
Yeah.
But that's why the conversation gets out there, and it's like, well, you kind of have to understand it. You have to kind of know what it's all about. And there's a certain type of, and that's true to a certain extent. There's a certain type of pressure that comes along with it. A certain type of celebrity that comes along with it that you just have to be prepared for. Recruits say it all the time when they come here, like, they told me all about this place. And I didn't really, there's no way I could envision it until I got there, walked around, and was in it for a weekend or whatever it was. And that's all true.
And honestly, even a lot of these other big time places or places that you look at and think of as, okay, they care just so much more than everybody else. I mean, Alabama splits attention with Auburn. Places like Mississippi splits their attention, Mississippi and Mississippi State. LSU splits it with the Saints, Georgia with all the Atlanta sports teams. I mean, all these SEC schools. Tennessee is maybe a good example. They have professional sports in Tennessee, but I feel like the Volunteers kind of dominate the professional sports scene there, which especially is a little
especially
unusual.
with Vandy being so irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, Vandy's irrelevant in everything except for college baseball. You've got, I mean, I know the Titans are a big deal, but to me, it seems like at least Tennessee, specifically Tennessee football, kind of dominates the conversation in that state. But I mean, especially when you're talking about football, North Carolina, that's an entire basketball state. I mean, yes, they have good football there, but that's a whole basketball state. Anywhere in the SEC, ACC footprint that you can think of, everybody's splitting attention one way or another, basically with the exception of Arkansas, who hasn't been that good, and then Nebraska, who, also hasn't been that good.
Well, the thing about Arkansas, and we talked about this when I came back from there, but the thing that you really notice about it is, and like you said, they haven't been successful in football. I don't know that there would be like this constant fever for Arkansas football there, though. That's not how it came off to me. And they really, really care about Arkansas baseball, which is like so incredibly unique. I can't even, that's even more weird than Nebraska, to be honest with you, because baseball is not it's not a
revenue sport, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And there's been times, I mean, if you want to go back to like the 90s and early 2000s, you could, even with like an LSU, people cared about LSU baseball, but LSU football was still the primary, the primary concern of people down there, no matter how big baseball got. And baseball got really, really big at LSU. It still is. But yeah, you'd have to go probably West Coast to some of those teams that don't have necessarily an FBS football school. I mean, you're like Cal State school. Some of those you might get the same type of attention. Maybe Vandy, you might get that with Vandy because every other sport's been so bad. For baseball being their primary concern or their primary sport. But yeah, it's super weird for an SEC school in Arkansas, and one that does have some football history, not to mention the national championship in basketball, for baseball to kind of be their thing.
Right. It's super weird. Okay. So next thing on this, because I have the list in front of me, might as well just keep on going. The state with the most FBS programs is?
I'm gonna say Texas.
It is Texas. How many do you think they have?
All right, so you got Texas.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure, let's do it. Yeah.
I mean, let's try and name. That's the only way I'm going to come up with a number. Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, SMU, Rice, University of Houston. How many more?
Three
I'm
more?
at 8. I'm at 8.
Yeah, 3 more.
3 more. Is UTEP?
UTEP, that's one.
Sam Houston is FCS because they just won the title.
Think abbreviations.
UTSA?
Yes. One more.
And
Not an abbreviation.
Not an abbreviation?
No.
Is it a private school?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Give it to me.
North Texas.
Oh, yeah.
North Texas.
Green in Denton.
Yeah. You got Texas A&M, TCU, Texas, Texas Tech, SMU, UTSA, Baylor, Rice, Houston, North Texas, UTEP.
That was pretty good. I'm proud of myself. That was a good effort.
Maybe Texas. Did Texas State move up? Is Texas State?
Oh, I think Texas State is one now too.
So maybe they have 12.
I thought Texas State moved up.
Big Game Boomer only ranked 11. So maybe it was the top 11.
He stopped at 11. I thought Texas State moved up.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next up after that, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 states that have 7 FBS programs. Can you name those 4 states?
Florida.
Yes.
California.
Yes.
There's 2 more states that have 7?
Yeah. It's kind of surprising.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
FBS programs.
Think big recruiting areas. You got the main two.
North Carolina?
Yes.
And I'm gonna I don't think any of the big SEC states have one, but I'm probably missing one.
Nope, you're right. Keep going.
Virginia.
No. Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio has Cincinnati, Ohio State, Toledo, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Bowling Green, Akron. They basically are the whole MAC plus Ohio State, Cincinnati.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was proud of North Carolina.
That was a good poll. North Carolina has UNC, NC State, Wake Forest, Duke, East Carolina, Charlotte, and Appalachian State. I think. Appalachian State. Florida has Miami, UCF, Florida State, South Florida, Florida International, Florida Atlantic. California has USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford, San Jose State, Fresno, and San Diego State.
Nice.
That's the segment.
I don't have anything to add to those names of schools.
See, I was going to be... Oh, yeah, there's Kent State, too. Did we miss one in Ohio? Man, Big Game Boomer.
Big Game Boomer.
Big Game Boomer with no love to Kent State or Texas State.
Which may or may not be FBS. But I'm pretty sure they are.
Emmett checked. They are. We might have missed one or two more, because when I added them all up at the end, it was at 127. And then I found out today that we're at 130. So we're missing one more, too.
Yeah, so it was Texas State, Kent State, and we're missing one more. Are we missing a Florida one?
I would assume that we're missing another Texas one.
Yeah, I would assume we're missing either another Texas one, another California one, or another Florida one.
Right. But I don't know. That's a mystery that maybe potentially somebody out there can solve.
It's unsolvable for us.
But someone did text in, don't forget about Kent State. So I'll give credit to the text line on that one. Shannon Lincoln said from earlier, listening to Robbie think of Big Ten West schools reminded me of Sipple trying to remember painfully obvious movie titles. Which is, that's about right.
Tough moment. All right.
Hey, look, it's a lot under pressure. It's a lot. Okay,
It
Big
is.
Ten West schools, Big Ten West schools. Schaefer does this thing with me where I have to guess the top 7 schools in the guy's recruitment all the time, just like with
Out of nowhere,
with
no
no hint.
context.
It's like here's where he's from. There's a whole there's 4 SEC schools, there's 3 Big Ten schools, and there's 1 Group of 5 school. Guess. I'm like, this is hard.
Yeah, just thinking of names of things under any sort of clock is difficult.
Yes. That's what makes Sporkle so difficult. Have you ever
Oh,
done
I love
Sporkles?
Sporkle.
I love Sporkles.
I used to Sporkle so much.
My favorite Sporkle was, I think I've told this before, but my favorite Sporkle is there's one on there where you have to name like the top 200 most populated towns in Nebraska.
Oh, geez.
It was like, I sat there with help, and I think it gives you a half hour or something ridiculous. I sat there with help for like 15 minutes and could only come up with like 60 or something like that. I'm like, what? We have 150 more of these? This is unbelievable.
I can't believe there's 200 towns in Nebraska.
Yeah, no, there's way more than 200. It turns out.
I did one I've done a couple that are like the top 100 career rushing leaders or passing leaders in the NFL. Those ones are fun. The top like 50 passing touchdown seasons of all time. Those are fun. It gets difficult where you're just like, I know Tom Brady threw a lot once. That's all I got.
Yeah, just you're throwing stuff at a wall. So, maybe this is good. Send me your favorite Sporkle, and I will attempt to do it, or we will both attempt to do it. You could do that at 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line. They're both open for you guys. You can catch us on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We are up there right now until 6 o'clock. I saw this from, by the way, let's quickly shift gears before break here. Boxing, Bud Crawford. So we've been wondering, there's been some rumors about what Bud's next fight's going to be. According to Bob Arum, he says it's going to be October 23rd on ESPN, but there's no opponent yet.
Against someone.
Against somebody somewhere. I mean, didn't he say he was going to go to like some overseas?
Yeah, like I think the United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia, one of those two was vying for one of those fights. It's by the time he fights in October, I think you're looking at like almost a year and a half from the last time he fought. I mean, he's going to be looking at a pretty extended layoff.
I know. I'm starting to get worried. Like, I mean, he's not exactly the youngest guy out there either. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's basically my age, I think. I think he's 33, 34. And,
that's not young.
No, especially not in boxing. And I just feel like the longer you take off at that age, because he was fighting really well. I mean, he's undefeated, so he's kind of always fought well. But he was fighting particularly well in his last couple of fights, and to have this long of a layoff is kind of a bummer.
Well, that's been the whole thing. I think he's kind of topped out as far as the opponents, the quality of opponents that he's currently facing, and they got to find him a major fight, and nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of upside in fighting Bud Crawford right now is the problem.
Right.
And there's not enough money for him to fight somebody lesser. So you're kind of in this limbo, which is really the problem with boxing. That's the one thing UFC has right, is that since all the fighters are owned, their contracts are owned by the same organization, that you can dictate fights. Now it's bad for fighter paydays, or worse for fighter paydays, but it's better for the sport in general because, you actually get the fight you want to see.
Who would have thought that everybody under the same rules and that works better with a governing body that, is competent. That works
well. That the competent is the key to that equation.
Yeah, and it usually is. Let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. More up next on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training and almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, fatigue, or weight gain, you might be experiencing low T. At Vitalize Health, they can help treat low T and get you back on track. Rami and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Your KFXL Fox Nebraska weather tonight. Partly cloudy skies this evening. A chance of some isolated storms. Otherwise clear overnight. Lows 68. Sunny, windy, and hot for Wednesday. Highs around 96. I'm KFXL Chief Forecaster Kent Boughton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Our business customers get more than just fast, reliable connections. They get service and support to meet all their voice, data, and TV needs. Because supporting your business is our business. Allo delivers peace of mind with a 100% fiber network, hosted PBX solutions, redundancy protection, and best-in-class service to back it all up. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685. That's 402-480-6685.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska in the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but that of my family, friends, and our community because I got my COVID vaccine. And now, everyone 12 years and older can be vaccinated. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Connor Happer and Ravi Lula. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
I want to talk about Delano Banton, who has got a little bit of buzz. He's been at the G League Combine over the last several days. As you remember, a couple weeks ago, maybe a little longer now, he entered his name into the pool for the NBA draft while maintaining his eligibility. And now what he's trying to do is get on some people's radars and see what he needs to improve on. I fully still expect that he'll be back at Nebraska for this upcoming season. But I suppose there is a chance that there could be enough buzz that something different happens. Have you seen any of this going around over the last couple of days with people just kind of talking about him and his game? And I mean, it's not necessarily breaking news as far as what we have seen from him, but people are definitely intrigued by the body type. That's for sure.
Yeah, and there's there's an NBA writer, I believe his name is Jeremy Wu, that I follow on Twitter, that said that Banton had been the most impressive passer at the G League Showcase or Combine or whatever we're calling it, the G League thing that they're having people go to. Yeah. It's like Combine Light. I don't know. But yeah, they said he was the most impressive passer at the event, and that he, with the size and that potential skill set is obviously really intriguing to teams. I haven't seen anything about whether or not that can sneak him into the second round. I would guess not. I would imagine they would probably want to see a healthy year of him, and that's just to say a non-COVID year with him, where he might be able to put kind of more of a full package together of his skill set.
Somebody caught up with him on hoopshype.com, and there was a couple. You forget about some of the play. Last season was so weird, and as we know, there was the break in the middle, and then I think after the break, if we're specifically talking about Banton, he was kind of trying to find his feet there, I think, for a while, and then after the break, he was just, almost a non-factor for Nebraska basketball, which you hated to see. But there was a reason why there was so much buzz about him going into last year, and now you feel like he's had an off season to work on his body, get a couple of things right. There are still some things about his game that, the shooting piece of it is, probably going to be an issue at the next level. You got to be able to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're his size and body type. But man, there were some tweets that were posted in. There was one specific one, a highlight from the Nebraska Creighton game last year, where he gets the ball, gets downhill at the top of the key. I don't know if you remember this, because I certainly didn't until this moment. And it looked like he was going to just, basically pull the last half of Nebraska basketball last year, which was run into a pile at the rim and kind of see if you get fouled. And instead, like before he even jumped, he got rid of it and got it out to a wide open Kobe Webster, or actually might have been Shamil Stevenson on the wing there. No, maybe it was Kobe on the wing there. And, knocked down. There was nobody within 15 feet of him to try to get three. It was an incredible pass. And he has the potential to make some of those really awesome jaw-dropping plays with the basketball in his hands. And I don't know, but I say this sarcastically all the time. People forget that, Ravi. People do forget.
Well, in some level of seriousness, the way the second half of the season went for Delano Banton, people kind of did forget some of the things that he's capable of. And I want to make it clear, I'm not comparing him to this player in any way whatsoever.
Disclaimer.
But there's a reason Cade Cunningham is the consensus number one pick in the draft. He's 6'8". He's got the chance to be a jumbo-sized point guard in the NBA. That skill set is hyper appealing. If you've got a wing body and a point guard skill set, teams will fall over themselves trying to acquire you. And now, again, Banton nowhere near the skill set level of a Cade Cunningham right now. And frankly, his frame is different too, despite being the same height. Cunningham's pretty well put together already.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing looking at him. Yeah, it's and people noticed this watching Nebraska basketball last year. You've never seen a point guard who looked like that before.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things, though, if teams can see, they're like, okay, if he can put these things together, because he's got the size and he's got that passing vision and ability that's basically unteachable. You can't teach someone to pass like that. They just either do or they don't. They can or they can't. There's a lot of things you can teach on a basketball court, but to everything I've seen, that's not one of them. And you can get better as a passer, but some of the passes, these natural vision and passes that some of these guys make, that's just it built into you. And if he can tighten up his handle so that he can be a primary ball handler and fix the jump shot, which those are big ifs, to be fair.
Yeah.
And if he can fix his frame, not his frame, but if he can add some weight to his frame so that he's not so fragile looking even, and can kind of finish through contact a little bit, then he's going to be really, really appealing. Now, those are a lot of ifs, but he's got a couple of the factors that you just can't teach, and that's super size and really great passing and vision. Yep. And so they're willing to take a look at him and be like, hey, if we can teach him even one more of these skills, we're going to be in good shape here.
This is from the text line. Webplank. It says the only thing talked about on national shows for the past week is how Ben Simmons is an NBA liability, and now you're talking about Delano Banton's NBA future. So two different things.
But if Ben Simmons was coming out, they'd take him number 1 again.
Exactly. Two different things here. Me and Rico were having this conversation yesterday too. Like, Ben Simmons, while you can't trust him as the number 1 in a playoff series, very clearly, he's, he already couldn't shoot, and then it appeared as if he was scared in those big moments anyway.
Not ideal.
You can't do that. You can't trust that in the playoff series. Ben Simmons, while he has all of those flaws and, holes in his game, is still a pretty good NBA player.
Yeah, and he's still a very good NBA player because he's one of the best defenders in the league. One of the only guys you can legitimately say can guard people 1 through 5, and also has the ability to primary ball hand and play make. Now, listen, there are huge flaws in his game. No one's denying that. Flaws that Philadelphia hoped they could start to smooth over by now and haven't been able to, right? So that's a huge problem within the Ben Simmons thing. But if Ben Simmons was coming out of LSU this year, he would be at worst the number 3 pick in this draft.
Off the text line, Banton's lack of shooting ability will ultimately be the thing that makes him come back and withdraw from the draft. Agree or disagree? Agree, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I think he's coming back anyway. I think
it's his lack of production last year is why he comes back.
Sure.
If he couldn't shoot, but he averaged, let's say, I don't know what his numbers are off the top of my head, but let's say he averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists a game, something like that, he'd go, whether he could shoot or not.
So Delano Banton last year, 9.6 points per game, 5.9 boards, and 3.9 assists. So basically 10, 5, and 6.
About 60%.
Or 10, 5, 4, sorry.
About 60% of what I said.
Right.
If he had produced, again, like I said, 15, 8, and 6, 15, 7, and 7, he's going anyway.
And like I said, it was just so tough, I think, for everybody at the end of last year because he got to the point where they couldn't really play him at the end of last year because of how his body was and the shape that the team was. Like they just couldn't really do it. And so
I don't remember, did he actually get COVID? Do we know?
I'm trying to remember how that all went down. I think he was one of the ones who got it early.
Because we've seen this with different athletes, and I don't know if this is the case or not. I'm just pointing out that we've seen this with other athletes that have gotten COVID, is sometimes it takes them a really long time to look and feel normal again. And I don't know if that's the case with Delano Banton. I don't know if he just ran out of gas for other reasons, but it's something worth thinking about the way, when you look at the difference before and after the break for him.
From what I know about the situation, and I think there was probably a COVID aspect to it too. But from what I understand about the situation, it was a little bit more of like access to facilities, that type of thing. And I think it was really tough on everybody last year when they were going through their shutdown and the ability to get back in the gym and stuff like that, and access to, I've highlighted this a couple of times for him. I think it's so important for a guy like him, a body type like him, the nutritional piece of it. I think that was pretty detrimental to his season last year. So you're back with full access to all of that. You've gotten some feedback on your game. Okay, here's the deal. Go back to Nebraska for a year and let's see it in full bloom, because we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen full Delano Banton yet. And that's what people were so excited to see at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, we've yet to see the entire package put together for him. And, some guys don't. Some guys don't ever put it all together. And maybe he won't, but that's on the table. I don't want to, he's pretty far into his college career at this point. There's some guys that never quite figure it out in terms of putting their entire skill set together. You hope that's not the case. You hope with a real off season and an opportunity to play another year at Nebraska that he is able to put it all together. But it's not a given. It's not a given that that's going to be the case.
So this is Robin tweeted this out, the screenshot of it. This is from the Hoopside article today that caught up with Delano Banton after this combine camp, whatever it might be. Pretty good recruiting pitch here. Banton says, when asked about Fred Hoiberg, everything he says, I soak it up like a sponge. I know where he's coming from. He has played, and it's so easy for me to understand him because he's been in my shoes as well. He gives me advice on everything. I could call him as a friend, as a coach, as a brother. On the court, he puts me in places I feel I can do well. He was an NBA coach, so he knows what it's like and how it is. So he puts me in positions where I can shine and show that I am an NBA player. I'm not taking his experience for granted. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a recruiting pitch, right? Just send that to every potential prospect that you'll ever have.
I was going to say, put that on one of their mailers and just mass send that thing out.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter if you're a target or not. Like just send it, just put it in everybody's mailbox across the country and hope that it lands in a 4-star mailbox.
4-star, you're shooting low.
Yeah, sorry. I guess 4 or 5-star. Because Nebraska has 5 stars. I don't know if you've heard the news, Robbie.
5-star.
They have 1 5-star, and I don't know if you've heard that news.
I haven't. They've actually been trying to keep that under wraps, under the radar. I don't think they're telling people about it.
Web Blanket asks, how many field goal attempts did he average in his last 6 games? Ooh, man, I don't know that. His field goal attempts on the year. Let's see. He averaged. Why doesn't it total it out on this stupid website? They have 2-point attempts, 3-point attempts, and field goal attempts. So he was 5.1 2-pointers a game and 3 3-pointers a game. So 8.1 shots a game,
which is not a lot.
I don't know how many it was over the last 6, but like that's the other interest. I mean, once we get into this whole team and we get closer to the year, we could start to think about these things more. Super intriguing in that I really don't know how they're going to play it still.
Yeah.
And, they could do the, I'm interested to see where Bryce slots in that whole thing. And, Trey really found a good place, I think, at the end of last year, being the primary ball handler. You got to find a way to get Banton involved. And then what are the other pieces in the new pieces mean too? Like there's just so many different ways they could play it, I think.
Yeah, and you wonder, do they go back to the Banton as point guard model? Do they try and use his playmaking on the wing?
My guess would be they give that a shot.
The Banton at point guard again?
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, I think he has, honestly, of the guys on the roster, I think he has the skill set that would most lend itself to being a point guard. But again, can he keep people honest with the jumper? Can he keep his handle tight enough to not turn the ball over? Can he kind of endure the pounding that you sometimes get as a primary ball handler and still be able to make plays for his teammates the way they need him to in order to be effective? There's a lot of questions out of Banton as a primary ball handler that we didn't really get answered last year.
Last 8 games of last season, Banton's points 2, 0, 6, 14, 7, 14, 3, 7. It was just super consistent at the end of the year. I mean, after the pause, let's see. After the pause, he only had 4 games in double figures. And he was almost double figures every game up until the pause.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty dramatic before and after there.
Yeah, so I think that kind of points to what I was talking about there. I'm super interested to see where all that lands this year. We'll take our final time out here, come back, and round things out next on The Drive.
This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with a COVID vaccine. Everyone 12 years and older can too. Get vaccinated and stay strong. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Did you know that Myers Cork and Bottle is still open for walk-in business, but is now also offering citywide delivery? Learn more or place your order by calling 476-1518. And be sure to listen to Thirsty Thursday with Myers Cork and Bottle every Thursday at 4:30 on The Drive.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
Teachers will always find a way to help their students. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Our public school teachers never waver in their work, caring, and advocacy for their students. But we all know that education doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our schools need your involvement and support. Ensure a bright future for our children, our communities, and our state. Support our public schools. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you live in an older home, your little one might be at risk of being exposed to lead. Lead is toxic metal, and lead-based paint is still found in many older homes across Nebraska. Lead poisoning can impact a child's growth and development for their entire lifetime. Talk to your child's doctor about lead testing. A simple blood test can detect lead poisoning in your child. Get the facts about lead by visiting leadsafe.ne.gov.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Baseball is back, Lincoln. Let's celebrate safely. We're excited to celebrate the 20th season of Salt Dogs Baseball and welcome fans back to Haymarket Park in accordance with local health measures. Fans can enjoy the same festive, fun, family environment the Salt Dogs have always offered Lincoln, with peace of mind. We're working with the health department and local officials to keep our stadium safe and sanitary. Learn more about how we're bringing fans back safely for our celebration season at saltdogs.com.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
You're listening to The Drive with Connor Happer and Ravi Lula, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese.
Final couple of minutes here on The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. There was a tweet going around today. Brian Spillbeller, who for some reason kept track of these things. 1,164 transfer matriculation / commitments this cycle. The top 9 schools those players transferred away from are these: Tennessee, Kansas, North Carolina, Michigan State, Azusa Pacific.
Huh?
Hold it. Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Michigan, Temple. So for as bad as we think it is around here, at least it's never as bad as it was at Azusa Pacific, which I don't know what that is.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to do a Google now, actually.
I don't even. That's not a Division I school, right?
It is absolutely not a Division I school. It is a private university in Azusa, California. It is a private evangelical Christian university in Azusa, California.
What do they play? Like, what level do they play?
Apparently they play football at some level. Athletics. Baseball, basketball, cross country, soccer, tennis, track and field. That does not seem to include football. Division II, though.
Okay, so was this not a football list? I'm very confused.
This is just transfers. Apparently, I don't know. Azusa Pacific competes in the Pacific West in Division II of the NCAA, and apparently they do not have a football team. But
a lot of transfers.
I don't. Super weird list. Don't get it. But Nebraska was not the school that people transferred away from most.
No, I had seen Tennessee on a different list. They had like 25 transfers just away from their football program. And that was a couple weeks ago. So I don't know if that number's gone up, but Tennessee's had a tough go.
Ravi, we have some more information. There's a reason why Azusa Pacific was on this list. They cut football last year.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So there you go.
Yeah. So they no longer have a football program, but that's why they're on the list.
And still they had less transfers than Tennessee, Kansas, North Carolina, and Michigan State. They literally dropped their football program.
And a lot of the players are like, man, we like it here. It's fine.
I'll stay. I'll play club ball.
Does the basketball team need anybody?
I'll play intramurals.
I was
like that.
Pretty good at tennis in high school. Let's give that a go.
How about Oklahoma? I mean, how do you read into that? Oklahoma, like, are they, just processing kids out? Because I know they had a couple guys from the cycle. I'm not sure how we read into that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think every once in a while you're going to have some of these high profile programs on there if things kind of land, if the timing works out weirdly for them, because you're going to have really highly touted guys vying for positions against other very highly touted guys, and half of those guys aren't going to get the job they want and will most likely leave. So,
well, we know Tennessee is doing a complete overhaul. Kansas is doing the same thing. Michigan State's doing the same thing.
North Carolina is a weird one.
North Carolina is a weird one. Is that a process deal? I mean, Mac Brown.
I wouldn't think so. That's why that one's weird to me. They're not in the Oklahoma category and they're not in the Kansas category, so it's strange.
Maybe they're starting to think a little bit more like the Oklahomas and the Ohio States of the world.
Good luck, Mac.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. Michigan's on there, and then Temple.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of insight on Temple Owls football.
Why not? We have Azusa Pacific.
Yeah, I focus my obscure sports knowledge on the West Coast mostly.
Sipple just quote tweeted and said, Azusa Pacific. Who knew?
Thanks, Sip.
Hey, quickly, we only got like a minute left here, but did you see this Wisconsin drama today?
Yeah, with Greg Gard.
So basically there was a secretly recorded meeting, and which that's always a great way to start.
Yeah, that really helps a good dialogue.
We could tell how, those have gone before. And where a bunch of the senior basketball players stood up and were like, hey, Greg Gard, we don't feel like,
you care about us at all.
Care about us at all, or we have a relationship with you and we kind of just like want that. So what's the deal? And Greg Gard put out a statement today. He's like, I'm mad that the video got leaked.
I care about things a lot. I'm Greg Gard.
But also, who recorded this?
How dare you?
So that one's weird. We'll keep an eye.
Seems like he might have missed the point a little bit.
Keep an eye on that one. I wanted to spend more time on it, but we don't have any more of that. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you.